prison after they pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit bank fraud. Court documents describe when and how Kalasia Lewis, and former employee at USPS since 2015, would steal mail that included business checks worth millions of dollars from her job at the St. Joseph Street location and sold them to other people, including her co-conspirator, Brian Williams III. Both Lewis and Williams are set to be sentenced in federal court in early January.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of two, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
I like to do it at night when people aren't around.
This afternoon, we've seen a whole lot of table banging.
If you get a cough, please leave the room.
There are those that think I'm a very stable genius.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
Stop playing with it.
I got worms. I got hairy legs.
In politics, man must learn to rise above principle.
Hey, mister, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a fella in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can.
I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. We have Sky Mosley and Eddie Bader here in the studio with me.
How you doing?
Doing all right. How you gentlemen doing? Just okay? Yeah, I'm feeling a little ill at ease today as well.
Should have been here at 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh, yeah? This is where the party was at right here?
No. Sky, adjust your camera there a little bit. You can see it on that screen right there.
Okay, how's that?
And we are doing the live stream, folks. Joey Clark Live on YouTube. You can also watch on News Talk's Facebook page, on my Facebook page, as well as X, Twitter X. At
like and
the
subscribe, Joey.
Like and subscribe, especially on YouTube, trying to drive those numbers up. And
definitely.
I'm a little ill at ease, and I'm being dead serious here. This is not a wind-up to a joke. The more I read the news, maybe I'm just drinking too much caffeine or consuming too much nicotine, but when I look at Twitter in the morning, I get a heavy heart. Like, it really is depressing at a certain point. It's like we're sitting here, when I watch the political news, consuming poison after poison after poison. And honestly, I wish people would stop selling poison like it's a favor, like it's actually sustenance that's going to make us better. In fact, I'd be happy to eat. I'm not some Socrates. I'm certainly not Jesus, but I'd be happy to eat all the poison on behalf of y'all so you'd stop spilling it to one another.
Have you just
It's
reached
awful.
your limit? Or
I
it's nothing
feel
is
that
new.
way.
Maybe
No, none of it's
maybe
new.
it's saturated.
But yeah, it might be I've just been bathing in this for too long. But it gets you down. It gets you depressed. I've talked to a lot of folks and family and friends who don't watch the political press all the time. And it really is something that it just weighs on you the more you look at it and if you take it seriously.
Right.
So maybe we shouldn't try to take it too seriously. Maybe we should try to have some fun. But I could go through some of the headlines here to where, in particular, the one that's blown up on Twitter today is Hillary Clinton. Quote, "At some point, there needs to be a formal deprogramming
Yeah, I saw that.
of the Trump cult members." Now, I think I respond to that by saying I believe here's my way we could bring the nation together. And it's going to make everybody mad, but here's what I think we do, is we lock up Hillary Clinton, but not just by herself.
Okay.
We also lock up Hillary Clinton and we lock up Donald Trump. We put them in the same room. It'll have 24/7 live stream.
Steel
We can
cage
see how
match?
they're...
Steel cage match?
Or no, they can do whatever they want. They can be pals. They can fight. They can do whatever they want.
Best
But-
reality show ever.
Right. It's like neither of you can behave. You both loathe each other. I think you should be put in a cage for everybody's entertainment.
down.
Like, this is where my mind is going today.
I'd watch
Seriously.
that. Yeah.
And I was telling you the other day, it's the old Socratic line. It's like instead of crushing others, why not improve yourselves?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Socrates said that, and then the mob and clever politicians killed him.
Right.
And made him literally drink poison. So this is where I think we're at in this country, where I feel incredibly apprehensive. Like, I don't only feel personally down, like I have a heavy heart. I look at the madness of our culture right now, and I'm like, when does this end? Because this is not going to lead to a good spot by any means.
Well, it keeps just escalating.
Yes.
It's not like on a taper. It's not going to taper down. I don't see that happening. Unfortunately, we're like a fuse, and like I said, that escalation continues. When's the big bang coming?
Right, exactly right.
What's that trigger?
Yeah, well, and then you get weird things like, this is from the Not the Bee. It's Bernie Sanders staffers have left-wing, like Code Pink anti-war activists arrested outside their office for protesting wars.
Well,
I thought Bernie Sanders was this uber progressive guy. I guess not. You had wild left-wing protesters meeting up with Vivek Ramaswamy. They then rammed his car. But before that, he was trying to have a civil conversation.
He's pretty good at.
Essentially yelling screaming at him, like, why don't you support more war, support Ukraine in this fight against Russia? It's like, when did the left wingers, the Students for a Democratic Society, become the pro-war folks? Like, when did the hippies become the guys that wanted to go downtown to beat up well, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, do you think perhaps they could be the paid actors?
Right. It could be, but I think
Is
it's
that
more...
many of them?
Hillary's onto something.
Yeah.
That there are a lot of folks who just get their programming. It's kind of an old French term. I can't speak French, so I won't say the French way. But it's like the wooden tongue.
I think that's pronounced menage.
Yeah,
that one, Eddie.
Yeah, menage a trois.
That's
no.
not it.
If
Eddie
you
knows
start
French. Come on.
singing that one song,
Which one, Joey? I can start whenever you're ready. I've been warming up.
go ahead.
Which one do you want to talk about? I don't know which French song. I'm sorry.
What's that real lady? What's that song?
No, I don't know now, weirdo.
Voulez-vous savoir ça?
Parlez-vous français?
Yeah.
Yeah.
C'est ça.
I have no idea what you're talking about. The way I speak French is I surrender. That's the only French I know.
See, there you
I
go.
surrender. That's the only French I know.
That's right, actually, Eddie. That's absolutely right. No, but it's this idea of the wooden tongue where you can just etch onto that tongue, and they just repeat whatever you etch onto it over and over again. I think that's almost more poisonous than like a politician standing on a stage saying things. Is that folks look for meaning so many places. They're so wanting of meaning, they will go to the first snake they can find. And this viper's brood up there in Washington, D.C. is more than happy to spill that and to write toxic messages on the followers' tongues in order to get folks to hate one another, to think that freedom means imposing your will on others. Freedom means somebody has to provide for me.
Right.
And if they don't provide for me, they're tyrants, and I'm going to take them down. And it's always interesting how the imposers feel like they're always the ones imposed upon. The tyrant in you is the tyrant in me, folks. And I was just reading some hit piece on talk radio from Yahoo News, and they, the talk radio folks said the basic message is that it's sound and fury. It's loud, over-the-top noises. That's what works in talk radio.
Okay.
If you try to be nuanced and whatnot, so maybe I'm screwed. Again, let me drink all the poison then. Fine. If it'd make the world better off, but I don't think it will. Sorry to begin with this depressing message, but there will be, I hope, new folks rising up. What are you going to do? You put the next foot in front of the other, you carry out the next day.
You have to.
And you try to put things together. But I'm just saying the trend that's going on right now, I'm dead serious, is going to end up deadly. And it's going to end up where we have a country where we don't even... I wrote it years ago. If we keep doing what we're doing, the United States is going to stab itself in the heart. It's a sad realization. I don't know why it's so heavy on me this morning, but it just is. And I don't think it's a Republican or Democrat solution. I think it has something to do more with the heart and more with your faith in something bigger than any person could build. But that's a whole other can of worms we'll get to. In a second, he should be calling in at any moment. There are, as we promised with these new districts, new people jumping into these congressional races.
That is right, Joe.
And so in a moment, I believe we're going to have a call from somebody who's going to challenge Representative Gary Palmer. That's Garrick Wilkins.
Okay.
He has announced today. So we'll get to him once he calls into the show, if the phones are working.
Yeah, I heard.
Phones are working.
Phones are working.
We've got them back online.
All right.
All right. Good job.
Good job.
But while we're waiting on that gentleman there, on Garrick Wilkins to call in, tell us about the Alabama Gazette, Sky.
Proud to be associated with the Alabama Gazette. That's your hometown conservative newspaper. The Alabama Gazette, always published under the banner of God, family, and country. And coming up this month, I have it right here, October 26th, the Alabama Gazette will be celebrating their 24th anniversary. Inviting you to their downtown offices, beautiful downtown offices. October 26th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have firm hours now. It's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be food. I think there's going to be some entertainment. And please come on down and party with the Alabama Gazette. That's October 26th. We'll be telling you more about that as we go forward. Meanwhile, the Alabama Gazette, a great place to spend your advertising dollar. I know how valuable that is these days. The Alabama Gazette shares your values, your principles, and they have the courage to defend them and print them. That's the Alabama Gazette. Consider advertising with the Gazette. Give them a call. Their number 356-6700. Pro-life, pro-family, pro-America. That's the Alabama Gazette. 356-6700.
Appreciate it, Sky. No, the French song I was thinking of was that old, that like diva classic, Lady Marmalade or Marmalade or whatever.
Marmalade.
Marmalade?
Yeah.
Is it marmalade?
Yeah, I remember
Isn't that something you spread on toast?
I thought so, yes.
Comes in orange and lemon.
Then why is she something that you spread on toast then? Is that type of lady?
It was the 70s, Joey.
I've now gone from a heavy heart to intrigued. Yeah.
But it shows you're still into musicals, huh? Your love of musicals.
No, I just exist in this world, and that was it was some remake that came out when I was a kid. I remember. Don't you try to turn this on
Just
me.
curious.
For instance, we got Romex Angler on the live stream saying afternoon, ladies. So, don't do all this little Joey's over there twirling in his little skirt, listening to his musical stuff. I'm tired of skirt on? You know what? There's been enough. There's been enough homophobia on this show, all right?
Who's homophobia?
These constant jokes, all right? No, and I've engaged in it too. There's been enough of it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're like a woman.
Wait a minute. First off, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The whole homophobia thing.
Yeah, okay.
And how am I like a woman? I've lost weight. My breasts are getting smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You're referring to that, I guess, now? Is that what you're
Actually, yeah. I didn't know you were going to say that out loud.
Well, there you go.
Hey,
Thanks, Joey.
let's try to improve ourselves here.
Working on it.
Not just
1 pound
crush
at a time.
others. And why don't you answer the phone? Because I think that's our our guest on there.
Oh, this is going to be a good show.
272-9228. And I look forward to talking to this gentleman. I believe it's not him?
It's George.
It's George?
Yeah.
George.
Okay, well, we're waiting for Garrick Wilkins. I guess we're going to have George. Hey, George, how you doing?
I'm doing well. The song you're looking for is Lady Marmalade by Patti LaBelle.
Patti LaBelle, yes.
Very French.
She's the artist.
Mm.
And I can't, it's Cajun French. I can't speak it, but it's something like Itchy Gitchy Higher Comma or something like that.
Higher Comma.
Yeah.
No, I don't know the word. It's French words.
That's pretty good.
And
I
on
surrender.
the chorus, she says, "We are Lady Marmalade." You know, it's a good tune. I don't remember who did it first, but it's Patti LaBelle. Anyway, you know, I was on Twitter once upon a time, and I got off of it. And about a month ago, I got back on it. I signed back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you pick who you want to listen to. I couldn't find anybody that I cared what they thought. And I got a lot of commercials, and after about a week, I thought, this is wasting my time again. So I signed off of it, off of Twitter. It is too much stuff. It's too much monkey business, and it is not consequential. You don't really have to pay any attention to it, because what happens on Twitter is ephemeral, you know? It's there and gone. So don't worry about Twitter and don't look at it. Do real things, like talk to people on the telephone, like you're trying to do.
And I certainly try to do that, especially friends and family. But I'll say, you know, it's not just Twitter. It's like you turn on cable news, and it's about the same thing. It's about the same nonsense. I've found some corners of Twitter that are great, where it's like history and fun comedy stuff. But yeah, the political side of Twitter is just poison, as we were saying.
It's just crap.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this too. I was on a cruise a few weeks ago, and on the ship they provide TV, and for news channels they had MSNBC and Fox News. And what I heard on there is people yelling at each other all day long. So I never looked at it. And you can do that now at home. You don't have to be on a boat. Or you can not pay any attention to that either. Just let it go by. Find some place that gives you facts, read the facts, and then go eat supper or something. Don't worry about the rest of it. Commentary, opinion is crap. It doesn't do anything. Right?
Right.
There you go.
Love you, neighbor. Shoot your television.
Well, George, I hope you keep listening to my commentary opinion, though. I'm the one exception to the rule, right?
You do have some original thoughts, and that's okay. But to hear news commentate, you know, the people on those,
it's like they're mouthpieces for the different party. It's just dishonest communication. They're just trying to win, essentially.
Yeah. You know, it's like it's like Buffalo Springfield said one time. Singing songs and carrying signs, mostly say hooray for our side, right?
Amen.
For what it's worth. There it is.
Amen.
You remember that? Yeah, that's for what it's worth. Mm-hmm. That's what it's worth. Nothing. Good night, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Appreciate you. 272-9228. Yeah, I appreciate that a great deal. We got Fred on the line?
Yeah, Fred's going to do his day on comedy. Bring it on, Fred. What you got?
Hey, Fred.
Good morning. You know, you really hit a thread on that Students for Democratic Society. I called, and they're still active. I'm applying for membership. I am sort of black, so I'm going to do the Black Panthers.
Wait, what do you mean sort of black? Let's clear this up.
Well, my great-great-grandfather was either like in World War I or was a slave, and we can't really get quite the scoop on that. But anyway, I believe that Patty Hearst did the right thing. You know, I think the Vietnam Vietnam War was the right thing to do, and I'm just going the opposite direction.
I see.
Right. So we should have kept dominating Southeast Asia to fight the commie Chinese.
Yeah, and raising that black fist at the Olympics. I'm with them. I think they did the right thing. RFK, Martin Luther King, and all that was, not a conspiracy. Okay, Eddie.
Yeah.
We're still set up. I'm having to bring a van because there's 13 of us to come over tomorrow morning, and I'm going to bring the knickknacks, ding dongs, donuts, and expired pound cake. So I want to make a contribution.
Well, I appreciate you bringing the pound cake.
Yeah, especially since it's expired. There's a lot you can do with that.
Oh, I used to do a lot with expired beer.
It's a little bit hard.
That's all right. I like my pound cake to have a little crunch to it.
Hey, if you
that's a nickname
butter,
of mine. A little bit hard.
Well, listen, I enjoy your show. Just thought I'd lighten it up a little bit.
Thank you, Fred.
Appreciate it.
All right.
See you, dude.
Yeah, well, I like that. What do you say, Buffalo Springfield? That's
for
a good.
what it's worth.
Yeah, that's a great line.
Right tune.
Can you name this tune?
All right.
The taste is so bitter, it's stuck on the tips of your teeth. It's that old Inquisition. Whose boot am I beneath? So blind to justice, the mob is out to settle the score. Rise up, scream out, protest, more, more, more. But don't you know the tyrant in you is the tyrant in me? Where's the liberty? The trick is so ancient, the book is covered with dust. It's a trusty declaration. The people must do what they must. So deaf to reason, the crowd marches to the drum as the silver-tongued ones scream out, fee, fi, fo, fum. But don't you know the tyrant in you is the tyrant in me? Where's the liberty? The fear is so timeless, it's caught in the base of your brain. It's that old-time religion. Remember the good old days. So daft to freedom, the rabble renders their own chains, and with gilded hope and love, they give themselves the reins. Don't you know the tyrant in you is the tyrant in me? Where's the liberty? Who wrote that?
I don't know. Sounds like Joey Clark.
Yeah, it's supposed to be lyrics for this thing that we open the show with every day. I just haven't sang them yet.
Nice.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Is your cell phone or iPad cracked, broken, or not working right? Don't let the big carrier stores sucker you into a new $1,100 device. Let XI Repair fix your device today. XI Repair fixes cell phones, computers, laptops, iPads, game consoles, drones, and more. Their certified technicians fix hundreds of devices every day. When your device needs care, call XI Repair, 334-777-1234, or Google XI Repair.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster.
Hey man, what's happening?
Now, I understand you radio people move a lot, is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money?
Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man.
Your money man?
With the money plan.
I see.
So no matter where I go up and down the dial, David has my back, you know?
I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with with David Ernest. 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And he has a website at retirewithernest.com. Hey, you're on top of it today, man. I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting. Yes, I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air.
Why were you taken off the air?
Too much foul language, man. Oh my. So I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. We've got Sky Mosley and Eddie Bader in the house today.
What's up, ladies?
See, I'm trying to cause a little fight between y'all by changing it up, mentioning Sky first. I'm slowly building the resentment and the rivalry up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming after you, man.
I'm trying to be like Bill Clinton and Trump with a team of rivals. And no, seriously, I got Dick Morris on speed dial here to really get y'all upset.
Eddie's got me figured out, man. If you bring me food occasionally, you know, you don't have anything to worry about.
Guy's a guy like me. You feed him, he's happy.
Never go away.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we have on the line, well, he's an Alabama businessman, Garrick Wilkins, and he has formally announced his candidacy to be the next congressman from Alabama's 6th Congressional District. Garrick, how are you, sir?
Hey, good afternoon. Hello. Happy to be here.
Now, this is the question I ask everybody from people running for mayor, city council, senator. I would even ask somebody running for president. Why do this to yourself?
my wife has asked me the same question, and we've prayed about it and thought about it for some time. But I'm at a place where I really view this as a calling. I think our country is at a critical juncture right now. And I'm a place where I can commit the time and the resources for a short period of time. And that's the key for me, is I believe in citizen legislators. It's why I have a book coming out on term limits this fall. And it's why I promised my wife that under no circumstance will we go to the swamp for more than 6 years. Because she told me if I tried to go longer than that she would even campaign against me. So, so I don't have self-imposed term limits. I've got wife-imposed term limits.
Well, I love hearing that. So tell folks a little bit about yourself. And when we say businessman, what type of business?
So I've been in the automotive industry for 24 years. 20 of those years I ran car dealerships, especially in Alabama, ran some big stores in the Birmingham market. And for the last 4.5 years, I've been selling dealerships, doing mergers and acquisitions for dealerships, and I've done several in the Montgomery and Prattville area. In fact, recently, back in January, I helped Dick Brubaker and sold his stores for him in Montgomery. Also did the transaction for him in Prattville to Eddie Stivers, and I've been privileged to have closed on 34 stores for over $500 million in the last 4 years.
Now, with this campaign going forward, I'm sure you have those values independent of your opponent, but is this the type of campaign of you are running against Gary Palmer, or you're more saying I'm the better, I'm more just Gary aside, I'm the better option? How's this approach?
No, I agree. I appreciate the question. I think that what we need in office are citizen legislators with business acumen. When you think about the fact that we have a $33 trillion national debt, and during our incumbent's time in office, it has grown from $18 trillion. And we don't need career politicians to get us out of it. I like a good car analogy because I'm a car guy, and I kind of take this approach. It's kind of like having your car driven into a ditch and letting the same driver trying to get it out. We need a change of tactics and a change of driver to get our country back on the road to progress and back to reflecting true Alabama conservative values.
Now, I think I'm reading this correctly. You have a bachelor's degree in theology?
So, yes. So I did undergraduate, met my wife at Pensacola Christian College, was studying theology at that point. I ended up getting married and finished my degree from Liberty University several years later because I got into the car business. And during that time, I've had, been fortunate to be very successful in many areas. And while I was in the car business, I realized, goodness, I'm running some pretty substantial operations, and I got a theology degree. So I actually went back and got my master's in business administration from Stanford University in Birmingham, great conservative Christian university in our state, who I also have the privilege on serving on one of the advisory boards for the business school. So, yes, theology is my undergraduate and business is my graduate degree.
Well, and I just love that basis, and those are both fantastic conservative schools. We were just talking about that yesterday. So when you look at what's going on with this larger nation of ours, it's a weird time. I was just saying, I opened up the show saying I kind of have a heavy heart from looking at this stuff all day, every day doing this job, and some of it I think is just downright poison. But that's on one level. When you look at what your district needs there in the 6th District, and you look at the larger problems you're going to have to work with other members of Congress on, what are the top 3 issues for you?
Well, first I've already mentioned one, and I think we need congressional term limits to really get rid of the corruption in D.C. But we've also got to get our fiscal house in order. When we look at the fact we're running $2.2 trillion deficits, that just can't stand. If we're running our household and we're trying to use the MasterCard to pay off the Visa, we'd be talking to a bankruptcy lawyer before long. And we have got to get this fiscal house in order, and that starts with substantial cuts to the Goliath federal bureaucracy in Washington. So I'm going to push to make those cuts and institute a balanced budget amendment. But all of this stems from the fact that we really have the woke left pushing for indoctrination and education. So I'm advocating to institute legislation to eliminate the federal Department of Education, and bring those funds back to the states. One of the other big initiatives I have, and one of the big areas I disagree with our incumbent on, is the fact that we keep advocating for billions of dollars in borrowed taxpayer money for the Ukraine when we have issues right here in District 6 that are being neglected. And I'll advocate to bring those dollars back to this district, focus on restoring our roads and our highways, and institute my Alabama First business and infrastructure plan to bring back economic growth and prosperity to Alabama.
All music to my ears, Garrick. And again, folks, we're talking to Garrick Wilkins. He is running in the 6th Congressional District. I've got to ask you, with all the news this week with the ousting of Kevin McCarthy, what do you make of what we just saw this week in the House of Representatives?
Well, it's unfortunate that it came to that, but it goes back to a lack of leadership from the beginning. Kevin McCarthy should have never been elected Speaker, and it's disheartening that our incumbent would not follow Alabama's leading and their values and voted 15 times to put him as Speaker. I would have never voted for Kevin McCarthy in the first place. In fact, in looking at where we're at, I think Jim Jordan is an excellent selection for Speaker. He represents conservative values. He wants to get our fiscal house in order. He's wanting to hold the corrupt Biden crime family accountable, and he is absolutely the type of leadership we need in the House.
Well, I appreciate your time today, Garrick. I appreciate you putting your life out there. This is, as I started, it can be a serious thing to throw your hat into the political arena. And from the sound of it, just in this introductory interview here, it sounds like you've got your heart and your principles in the right place. Maybe a little later as we get closer to all these elections, do a fuller, longer form interview. But for now, if folks are interested and like what they hear, how can they support your campaign, whether a donation or volunteering?
Absolutely. We've got our website set up. It's Wilkins, FORAL.com, Wilkins4AL.com. We are online. It's got more information about the key issues we support. There's a donate button. There's a connect with us. I'd encourage you to sign up so you can be up to date on where we're going to be in the district, because the district is a lot different this year. So we'll be taking a lot of work to be in the community, and I'd love to connect with people. And I'm going to correct you on one thing, Joey, and I had the same issue with Scott and everyone else. It's Jarek Wilkins, soft G like geology. So I appreciate that. But as long as they don't get it wrong on March 5th on the ballot, I'm good.
Jarek Wilkins. No, I thank you for the correction. I appreciate it, Jarek. And hopefully we'll talk again soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
272-9228. No, like we said, like yesterday the maps come out.
Yeah.
Today people are already jumping in. And I'm sure we're going to get more because, again, we're within 3 or 4 of these districts within our listening radius.
That's
it's
right.
pretty crazy, actually. But it seems like these are going to be the maps. Everybody's getting in. Well, hold on to your butts, as Samuel L. Jackson might have said in Jurassic Park. This part of the program brought to you by Bath Innovations of Alabama. And their Bath Innovations, Brad McDowell and his team are ready to help you. You know, Brad's the founder, still the owner, and he built that company up since 1994 by his bootstraps. He believes in hard work, perseverance, motivation is the key. He tries to keep those employees motivated. Like, our job is to serve the local community. It's not just a job. You're serving your fellow local Montgomeryans and all folks here in the surrounding areas. They've been doing that for 30 years. Their goal is to serve every household in the area. Pretty ambitious, but I like that sort of ambition. And, of course, they have so many options. We can't tell you about all of them here on the radio in just about a minute. So what you need to do is go to bathinnovations.com.
Got a great website. I'm on it right now.
You can see, say, some of these full remodels with that new ABS acrylic shower systems. Yep. You could get those safety features, right? Like a safety bar railing.
Safety bar, yep.
Could be you're a little older, less sure-footed. Could be you're just tired of that sink. It looks ugly. It was built in the 70s.
Chip in it. Yeah.
It could be you always wanted that rain shower head where it's really pouring down on you. So it could be like you're just changing up a fixture or a faucet. Could be you're just helping fix that chip in the tub or the sink, or it could be a full-on remodel where it looks like a completely different bathroom. Whatever you're looking for, they can help you no matter your budget. So again, bathinnovations.com is where you need to start. Start to mix and match and think about what you want to do, and then stop by 2331 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. And be sure to tell Brad McDowell and the team there at Bath Innovations of Alabama that Joey and Eddie and Sky from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. 272-9228. Aren't we expecting Jonathan Strange
He's
here?
pulling up as we talk.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you got to get out of here, Sky?
Yeah, I'm going to get on down the road.
Okay.
Get the Husky.
Have a great weekend, brother.
Good seeing you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You gentlemen, have a wonderful weekend.
You too, bro.
More News and Views in the afternoon after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
This is James Jones with Jones Drugs. We've got locations in Prattville, Millbrook, Greenville, and Montgomery, and soon to be Phoenix City. My dad told me once if I wanted the whole world to know anything, to tell my aunt. Well, I don't have my aunt here, but I've got the next best thing, Blue Water Broadcasting. They have helped us grow the Jones Drug family in this area for over 10 years. Thank you, Blue Water.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Big weather changes ahead as a cold front moves through the state today with a few spotty showers ahead of the front. Unfortunately, not every town's going to get wet. That'll continue this evening and tonight as well. With a high today around 84, then it turns breezy and colder tonight behind the front. Upper 50s for the overnight low temperature. Tomorrow, sunshine, breezy, much cooler with a high of 74. Then clear skies with some jacket weather nights ahead. We'll be in the 40s Saturday and Sunday night. Sunday's high only up to about 72 with sunshine, blue skies. A great weekend at the Alabama National Fair. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE Credit Union makes auto loans easy with rates as low as 4.75% APR. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house. And joining us now, Jonathan Strange.
Hi.
How you doing, Jonathan?
Doing pretty well, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You can see the live stream over on my laptop there. Just the camera, and that's on top of the other monitor.
Yeah.
But you've been all over the world. Where have you been, man?
I'm not all over the world. I haven't left America technically.
Okay.
But I went to Alaska for about a week and a half.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. How was that, brother?
Fun.
Yeah?
Good time. It's beautiful up there, especially this time of year. So
Yes.
We were there like right when the leaves started changing, so it was really beautiful.
It's
really
funny,
beautiful.
when you live there and the leaves change, it's like a week. But when it's literally, you're like,
Yeah.
It was sunny last week, what happened? All the leaves are gone. But it's one of the most beautiful times of the year. Now, did you guys do any float plane experiences or anything like that?
Float plane? What are you talking
Where
about?
you fly out? Like, did you...
So we were supposed to take a flight to Denali.
Yeah,
And
okay.
we waited 3 days for it, but the weather,
weather?
was terrible. So ended up not going through,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I have done that flight before. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country. A place like that, again, I would love Joey to kind of experience something like that.
It's a little bit like Alabama, in my opinion. Like the people.
The people?
The
Very
people
friendly?
are very friendly. It's not like Southern culture, but
No.
they have that same like quaintness about them and whatnot.
Sure.
But it's just beautiful, man. It's still remote. It's the only place I've been to in America where you still go, and it's like, wow, this is definitely still some some territory that has not been explored yet.
Especially, like, you can literally go 15 minutes out of Anchorage, and you are in the danger zone. You have, in Anchorage too, but right outside of Anchorage, you have the opportunity to be trampled by a moose. You can get stuck in the mud flats and drown that way. A grizzly bear can attack you. A ram could knock you off a cliff. I mean, it's just, but at the same time, it's one of the most beautiful places in all the world. No snakes.
No snakes at all,
Right.
Yeah.
No snakes. That's always nice. I don't like snakes. I don't like alligators.
They don't have those either.
Nope, none of them.
And I don't like politicians, but I repeat myself.
They got a few,
Yeah, just a few of those. Now, I saw these, especially with both of y'all essentially running your own businesses. These job numbers just came out. Now, the Department of Labor put out today that U.S. employers added 336,000 workers in September. My initial thought was, okay, how much are y'all going to revise that down a couple months later? Because that's what they've been doing with a lot of these jobs numbers. But there's a report on Zero Hedge, and they reframed this a little bit. So, again, it's always a good idea, like what the government does, what the corporate press does. It's factual, but not really truthful. You don't get the full frame and picture. So, again, the Department of Labor said we added 336,000 workers in September. Well, here's the inside the jobs report. 885,000 full-time jobs lost. 1.127 million part-time jobs added. That's how you get that job increase. But you're getting a massive layoff and downsizing of full-time employment.
Which is a benefits loss to the majority of those people.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Plus, I'd imagine with this inflation, people are working multiple part-time jobs.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a repeat. I have not read any of these numbers yet, so I'm not super familiar. But it sounds very similar to what we saw in like the 07, 08, 09 times. You know, everybody was taking 2 or 3 part-time jobs because the companies didn't want to pay for benefits, and the new minimum wages were kicking in, and nobody could afford it. So,
right.
What I'm seeing is that at least during the COVID period, we had tons and tons and tons of people that were applying.
Right.
Or, sorry, not applying. We had a huge lack of people, but now
we had them out there to supply the labor.
Right, but
now
they weren't applying. Now my inbox we have a specific email for everybody that applies to work at our company, and now it's like I don't even have time to go through all the people. And I was in a restaurant the other day and was talking to some of the waitress, and I see like just a couple people meeting with the manager, and you go back 2 or 3 years ago, that would have never happened.
Right.
You don't see people trying to get jobs. So I think the tides are turning. I don't know how bad it is truly yet, but it's definitely turning. I mean, the economy is definitely going a different direction.
What do you see in those applications? Do you notice many of them are just general applications? Or are they specifically qualified for that job?
So interestingly enough, at least in my company, it's been a big increase in like people that have a lot of experience. So that was one of the issues earlier in COVID. We could barely get the 18-year-old that has no job experience to work for us, which we were paying a minimum of $15 an hour plus benefits at the time.
Crazy.
I mean, healthcare, everything. Right. And so it's like now we're getting 30, 40, 50, even 60-year-olds that are applying. And when you see that, normally my first intuition is not a good sign for the economy. Some of the other colleagues in Montgomery that I've talked to, as well as just across the country, it's way worse outside of Alabama, I'll say that.
Yes.
But like I've talked to colleagues in Washington and California, even some in like certain parts of Florida, and they're saying it's much worse.
Now, and I'm sensitive here on the radio, not to reveal too much, but because we mostly run off small businesses as our sponsors like yours, Jonathan, that very hard conversations sometimes have to be made where a business owner comes and goes, guys, I can't afford things anymore.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen too much of that yet. Sometimes we'll get like, we're getting too many people coming to our door, so we got to hold. Okay, I kind of like that as well.
It's always a good thing.
But it's not breaking just yet. What makes me nervous, though, is that you see all these folks dropping out of full-time, losing benefits, looking for part-time, probably working multiple part-time jobs, depending on your situation. As mortgage rates and interest rates in general continue to climb, probably going to go higher because it's not just core inflation that remains sticky. You're now seeing headline inflation go back up despite what Biden and team are saying. And so the Fed's probably going to kick up interest rates even more. And it just makes me wonder if is it a perfect storm of essentially stagflation where the jobs numbers look good, but the wages aren't keeping up with the rising cost of basic necessities.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, everybody that's, especially the minimum wage area, they're not getting pay raises every month. It's quarterly. At the best, it's most likely yearly for most people.
Right.
And we see even groceries are still going up. Gas is still going up.
Yep.
Everything's going up for those people. So, I just hate seeing on the news media constantly of politicians on both sides acting so out of touch with this issue. I mean, you guys see the headlines every day, but the past few weeks it's been like Nancy Pelosi, got kicked out of a little office corner suite. It's like, why is that the issue?
To me, that's a funny tidbit, but we're not, by talking about that, we're not talking about the real issues.
Sure. I mean, I get to them. That's the thing to talk about, but it's like, it just goes to show how out of touch you are with the average American.
I'd love to know when's the last time any of them filled up their tank of gas in their car.
Personally.
Personally them themselves.
Yeah, and put it on their credit card.
Right.
Go through that whole rigmarole. I'd like to know when the last time any of them flew airlines, not commercial either, or commercial, but not private. I want to see you in business class.
And booked it themselves.
Yeah.
And was aware of what it cost.
And got delayed halfway through for, and because that's what's actually happened.
There are a few of them who do that, but not many.
No.
Sure.
Not many.
If I know Jonathan, let's say Jonathan's some high-tech bigwig, and he knows I fly to D.C. from wherever, I'm sure there are times when Jonathan says, hey, my plane's up for grabs. If you want to take a fly, and, and have to fly commercial, sure, I'll do that. Now, in my mind, am I thinking Jonathan's going to ask for something on the backside? Well, of course he is.
I think people would be really surprised if they interacted with me in my personal life. So I'd actually go out of my way to try to be, I don't want to call it normal, but do things that keep me balanced. So a good example is I changed the oil in my car. That's pretty rare for most people that drive a new GMC 2021. They're taking it to the dealership or whatever. You'll see me in the front yard. I got it over there. I'm up underneath it. It's high enough. I don't have to jack it up, and I'm changing the oil myself.
Oh, nice.
If something breaks around the house, I try to do it myself. I just think it makes you a better person, and true wealth to me is not just how much money you have in your account, but what you can do without having to hire someone else.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a liberating feeling, right? Say, tomorrow, if everything you built was taken away, I've got the abilities to rebuild, and I'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's an important thing to know. I like that a lot. And maybe this weird time, I would say it's a weird time economically, is leading more folks who are thinking that way to actually execute those. You just have to do it to survive.
Well, a lot of people did. Look at the backyard gardens that people took off growing just a couple of years ago, backyard chickens and things like that.
Oh,
so I think there are more and more people becoming aware of, hey, crazy or not, one day my ATM card just might not work. The cable TV, but just the electric grid just might be shut down. So I'm glad people are somewhat aware of that might happen. Now, if it does or when it does, how many of them are actually going to know, the skills they actually possess? But I can't imagine California right now if it went just dark.
Yeah. One of my first businesses was I had an antique booth at Eastbrook Flea Market. And so I have quite an extensive antique collection of things that I've kept over the years that I just personally cherish. And one of the things that I was reading through the other day after recently moving is that I was reading through some newspapers from the Great Depression time period. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting is there was an article of just an average man that was interviewed during that time. And the reporter was asking him, what is the worst thing that's happened to you since basically this depression, you've lost your job and everything? You'd think it'd be money or food that made him realize, holy crap, times are not good. It was the the realization that he finally had to cut his own hair. And I think when I read that, it made me stop and I'm like, wow, so many people don't realize how bad it can get because we've never, we live in a time where you get DoorDash for your food. You don't even have to cook. You don't even have to go pick it up. It comes to your house. And so there's such a level of disconnect between the average person on what good times versus bad times are today. And if you go back and read some of these accounts of people who have actually struggled, it's like, man, we are so far from that right now.
Oh, yeah, we are nowhere near, especially I guess the last generation really to do that was the Great Depression.
Sure. Yeah.
And, it could get really, really bad. And I started the show by saying, all this, how much of this stuff I consume. And, and sometimes I'm the one who's spitting it out too, but you consume enough, it feels like poison at a certain point. It is not this. I think this is a pretty sober discussion right here about what you got to do to make your way in the world. It's more like I don't think any of us in this. This is a good example. None of us right now, us three, are trying to win the conversation. There's not some agenda of we're competing for a thing, so I got to beat Jonathan. And so we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. I got some stuff I want to show you. Did you see the Lex Friedman Zuckerberg thing?
I haven't seen
display of the metaverse?
I did. Well, I saw clips of it. I didn't
Okay.
watch the whole thing. So
Remarkable stuff where that's going. But you notice on Twitter, especially on the political news media, cable news, and just whenever a politician talks, for the most part, in public, they're always trying to win. So there's always a little jab at the other person that's probably incredibly unfair, mischaracterizing the other person's values and opinions. And it's just the most daggum frustrating thing to where I'm like, let me spit out this poison. I'm like, oh no, it's in the bloodstream.
Remember we watched that with Killamede yesterday, and the guy from Tennessee, how he just dogged the man out for making a stand-up decision. Now, granted, he didn't agree with the decision, that's fine, but he just dogged him out for being a man and standing up and taking a stand on something.
Right, and it's that sort of tone that, it's what drives folks. It gets people emotionally charged. And we're going to have to get to this, Hillary Clinton.
Whoa.
At some point, there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the Trump cult members. Even Brian Stelter, who was on CNN all those years, said, what does formal deprogramming look like, Hillary? Like, what sort of totalitarian bullcrap is that to say? I said, if that's where we're going with this, both Trump and her, it's not just a regular house of cameras. We're putting them in Gitmo. You know, the cell with the soccer field? Yeah, like that's Trump and Hillary in a Gitmo cell together, 24/7 live stream.
I'm down.
Yeah, if this is where we're going with these things, let's at least have fun with it. And no, you don't punish us, both of you. Just go away. You're ruining life. Excuse me. See, there's the poison coming out again. But we got to hit this top of the hour break. 272-9228. If you want to try to get in, our phone system, as usual, is on the fritz. And, it's another day at the Dream Factory, we call News Talk Studios. But first, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And they're at River Region Contracting. Well, they're the premier roofing contractor here in the River Region. Simple enough, folks. So whether you have an asphalt or a metal roof, you should get it inspected every few years, 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years at least. But in Alabama, we're kind of extreme weather conditions, so every 2 to 5 years is not a bad idea either.
Hey, you can do it pretty often because here's the good news: at River Region Contracting, their inspections are free.
Absolutely free, Joey.
Abby, what's the cost of somebody that doesn't get their roof inspected?
Oof. Well, it depends on how long you go before that storm hits, or before. Honestly, this is what happens. People get a small leak in their roof. They have an attic, so they don't see it.
And they don't know.
Yep.
And then it ruins the drywall.
Then one day, their drywall comes crashing down. I mean, that's literally what happened. And they're like, holy cow. Now you've got mold issues, got that roofy leak issue, but that's at that point, that's your least worry because you're looking up sometimes and you're seeing sky.
Yeah.
Not good when you can call a company like River Region and they'll come out and they will look at this for free, Joe.
Literally look at it for free.
Yes.
If they do find a problem,
They did it for me.
the estimate is not only free, but the estimate is often, it is accurate.
Mine have been accurate
every time.
every single time.
Yeah, it's
Every
been
single
accurate. And they're a team of insurance specialists. So if they do find that problem, your insurance is going to cover. It's not always an easy experience to go through a claims process, but they can walk you through that claims process, make it swift and even pleasurable, that's awesome.
It's hard to imagine, but it does happen. I've seen them happen with several of my friends up at the lake,
where
they woke up looking at sky.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So call up Todd Clark and his team today, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them, you heard about him here on News and Views in the afternoon. More News and Views, after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Former President Trump is officially backing Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan to succeed Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker. In a social media post, he described Jordan as a star and offered his complete and total endorsement. In consumer news, the U.S. government appears poised to order a recall of millions of airbag inflators due to a manufacturing flaw that could send metal shrapnel rocketing through a car interior. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration held a public hearing on bags made by ARC Automotive of Tennessee. At least 25 million vehicles containing ARC-made airbags could be affected. The Dow had 310 points and the Nasdaq up 198. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word FAITH to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Big weather changes ahead as a cold front moves through the state today with a few spotty showers ahead of the front. Unfortunately, not every town's going to get wet. That'll continue this evening and tonight as well. With a high today around 84, then it turns breezy and colder tonight behind the front, upper 50s for the overnight low temperature. Tomorrow, sunshine, breezy, much cooler with a high of 74. Then clear skies with some jacket weather nights ahead. We'll be in the 40s Saturday and Sunday night. Sunday's high only up to about 72 with sunshine, blue skies. A great weekend at the Alabama National Fair. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Governor Kay Ivey announced the Alabama National Guard will deploy 275 soldiers to the Mexican border. The announcement comes 2 weeks after the governor joined 24 other states in a letter to President Biden urging him to reconsider his border policies and their impact on the states. Congresswoman Terry Sewell announced she filed to run for re-election in Alabama's 7th Congressional District, which includes a portion of Montgomery County. Sewell has served as District 7 Congresswoman since 2010. Montgomery police need your help in locating 69-year-old Tommy Lewis Mitchell. Last seen on Madison Avenue, Mitchell is 5'11", 180 pounds, and may have a condition that impairs his judgment. Please contact the Montgomery Police Department regarding the whereabouts of Tommy Lewis Mitchell. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
During Prattville Carpet's fall sale, you can get Mohawk waterproof flooring, regularly priced at $11 per foot installed, right now priced at $7 per foot installed. That's huge fall savings. And get interest-free financing for up to 12 months with approved credit. Call 285-8117 or visit PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
It's the 70th Alabama National Fair now through the 15th. Enjoy the rides, circus shows, and the food.
I love the fair, especially the Monday the 9th. That's School Day, sponsored by Daryl Bailey in the Montgomery County DA's office. I get in for only $7, and wristbands are just $20. We wait all year long for School Day, so grab your friends and join us. I can't wait to meet all my friends for School Day at the fair.
Coliseum Clear Bag policy in effect. 17 and under must be accompanied by an adult 21 or over.
The Alabama National Fair.
Sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery, Hyundai Motor Manufacturing Alabama, and Coca-Cola.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house.
How you doing, buddy?
As is Jonathan Strange of XI Repair. And, well, let's jump to what is driving the poison today through the Twitterverse, or Twitter X, whatever it's called. This was, well, look, the clip making the rounds. This is Hillary Clinton. Let's listen in, folks.
President Biden, listen. So for those outside this country who may not know, it is not so much a fight between two different parties. It's an internecine warfare within one party, the GOP.
Yeah.
So when you look at how to go forward for the country, as you say, is there any area of coalition building that could happen? There are pragmatic Republicans.
Okay, I have to stop it there. Christine Armand-Ball.
I used to really like her.
No, really?
Yes. When she was more of an international reporter, I liked her. I don't like her poking in our business. I liked her poking around elsewhere.
But I love that framing. Like, it's really just a fight within the Republican Party. There's no fight within the Democrats. Yeah, because you cut the balls off of anybody on the Democratic side of the aisle that might challenge you.
Right.
Yeah.
RFK Jr. Like, go watch
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders.
yeah.
Oh, they really did neuter Bernie. Yeah, he might as well identify as transgender at this point, all right?
Joe Biden. He ain't got nothing.
Right.
Up top or below.
Well, and in a second I'll get to, and maybe we'll follow it up with Hillary, with Tulsi Gabbard gave a speech recently that I thought was one of the best insights to how Washington works I've ever seen. And they, essentially, long and short of her point is, I rose up, they thought I was pretty, I was well-spoken, they wanted me to be vice chair. When they realized they couldn't own me by giving me these little trinkets everybody else wants, they destroyed me and tried to destroy my reputation. It wasn't just beating me fairly. It was, we will go scorched earth, Hillary Clinton leading the charge. So this all I did, well, it's only the fight within the Republicans. Like, yeah, because the Democrats running, the corporate Democrats are ruthless. Anyway, let's get to the actual viral part of this.
As you say, could there be a whole new way of trying to, get legislation going and cross-party governance going by Democrats and certain Republicans forming a coalition?
Well, you saw the number of Republicans who voted along with Democrats to keep the government open. So there's clearly a common sense, sane part of the Republican caucus in the House. But I think they are intimidated. They oftentimes, say and do things which they know better than to say or do. And it will require us defeating those most extreme measures and the people who promote them in order to try to get to some common ground where people can, again, work together. That's the way it used to be. I mean, we had very strong partisans in both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party.
Yeah, because it's not extreme to say we have to deprogram all these folks we have branded extremist. And yeah, there are some crazy people on the right and the left. Yep. There are crazy people always. I mean, it's not a political thing. It's people. Learn a book, Eddie. I don't know why I'm picking on you. I'm sorry. Again, it's the poison that comes out.
I gotta learn a book.
I hope you're immune at this point, because I spit it at you constantly.
Don't listen, but I got you, bro.
But no, I think what's happening is, again, this is why I really appreciate Trump started it, and I really appreciate Vivek Ramaswamy in the sense that, no, Hillary, we're reframing the conversation. We're not going to do the stupid little kayfabe like it's wrestling. Democrats, Republicans, we kind of disagree on what level of taxation should be. And do we do cap and trade, or do we tax carbon? How do we go about the, it's pretty much like it's already agreed upon, but we're going to fight over the small differences, marginal changes like it's the end of the world and the most important election in history. And you got folks, Trump kind of did it in his own way. Like, I alone can fix it. All right, I alone can fix it. That's just me. But his brashness, his narcissism, I think his hilarity. I was saying yesterday, Jonathan, Nikki Haley, miserable liar. Donald Trump is a liar too, but he was an entertaining liar. Bill Clinton, charming liar. Like Hillary Clinton's, I think, in the miserable camp, almost reptilian liar. And so anyway, the reframe is we're not going to stay within this little predetermined thing that the elite and experts have decided. Actually, we think the problem is that expertise has been corrupted by power. You see it in the education system. You see it in the banking system. You see it at not just lower education, but at the university level, certainly. You're seeing it with media, where the point we made earlier, the fight for power and winning is corrupting these things that should be independent of that fight. So we're getting really bad answers. For instance, Hillary, how did we get a global pandemic from something that was essentially man-made? How is it that U.S. funding even went into that? Well, you haven't proven that yet. How convenient for y'all. Have you found the natural link yet either? It's across the board where you're seeing all these institutions corrupted by power. People often think power corrupts. They think of Hillary or they think of Trump. They think of a person. Like, no, the problem today, and Vivek hits the nail on the head, is the managerial elite have essentially gotten to, and it's in the name, we're going to manage the problems. In fact, we're not going to just manage them. We're going to milk those problems to our own benefit. And by just managing them, never solving them, it'll be a perpetual thing. And think about climate change, like that climate crisis. Do they have like one fell swoop solution to this? No. We have to control every aspect of your life, from cradle to grave, especially your energy usage. We might have to start telling you what you can eat. And we won't do it over the top like tyrants like in China would do. We'll just, limit your banking access, and we'll nudge you in a certain direction. We'll incentivize the people running your hedge funds and your retirement accounts to go a certain direction too. It's nefarious and insidious. So I appreciate anybody, especially like a Vivek, who's I think got the right tone. I think he's immune somewhat to the poison, where I am not. I still get angry. That we are going to reframe this debate. And I think we're right over the target, folks, with whether it's Trump or it's Vivek Ramaswamy or it's somebody else. It's not about the personality necessarily. It's about how can we reframe the conversation in this country and actually get back to a government that truly reflects the Constitution instead of a government that was built by experts starting 100 years ago with the progressive movement. And I could keep going on a rant here because when you get into the early progressive movement, they were always all about, social justice. But social justice then required we have to literally, eugenics. That started in America before the Nazis picked it up. We've got to, clip people, essentially. And it's this sort of use of science as an excuse for the use of power that I think is really leading us astray. And Hillary Clinton, to my mind, is a perfect representative of it. And again, it comes out when she goes, we have to reprogram these folks. I just branded extremists, and because I'm so moderate and smart. It's like, okay, lady, how many people have died because of decisions you've made? And I'm not talking about the stupid kill list that people talk about online, because maybe it's true. Doesn't seem like Vince Foster killed himself. It seems a little tough. How do you shoot yourself in the back of the head?
A lot of people around the Clinton organization have figured out how to do that.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Right, but see, that's just silly. We're not going to go there. I mean, like decisions that you made, Secretary Clinton, as Secretary of State, when you were leading point on things like Benghazi and Libya, when you're leading point on so much of European policy with Victoria Nuland under you on the European desk that led us to this war that you're seeing Ukraine being wrecked by Russia right now. How many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have died because of your decisions, and yet you want to lecture the rest of us about being extreme? It's just a little much. So enough with that. That's what's driving the Twitter news today, her comments about deprogramming, and it's miserable. But what else do you expect from Rodham, folks? 272-9228. Now, I mentioned before we hit the top of the hour break, Jonathan, this interview that Lex Friedman did with Mark Zuckerberg. And I don't know how much of the audience out there in Talk Radio Land knows Lex Friedman, but how would you describe Lex to folks?
I would say he's a Joe Rogan type that's a little bit younger, but tends to dive into more complex particularly in the information technology world or AI world, podcast. Joe Rogan with a little higher IQ. I guess
Following
exactly.
conversation.
And essentially, Friedman will do the political stuff. He'll talk to historians. He'll do the deep dive into the latest in computer programming and AI. I think that's his specialty, is machine learning and these sorts of things. MIT research professor, essentially, folks. So smarter Joe Rogan is a good way, and very deferential in his interviews. And so what we're going to start here, I'm going to share this on the live stream, folks. Just the beginning of this is usually Lex is sitting in a dark room, like it's kind of blacked out, and he's got the person right across from him, and it's a great format. It's kind of just makes you focus on the people themselves. But they decided to do this interview with Zuckerberg and him, in the metaverse. And this is, the product that came out. So it starts, if you're just listening out there, where Lex has got this VR headset on, and he's pretty much freaking out about it. And now it's cut to the metaverse. And it's so real, he's getting giddy.
Lighting change? Wow.
Yeah, we can put the light anywhere.
And it doesn't feel awkward to be really close to you.
No, it does. I actually moved you back a few feet before you got into the headset. You were like right here.
I don't know if people can
see, and I'm pausing it there, and if you want to watch the live stream, folks, Joey Clark live on YouTube. But this shows the breakdown where you see actual Lex Friedman wearing the VR headset. You see the computer-generated model of Lex, and then you see it fully functioning and animated in the metaverse. And what amazed me, and I think it's why Lex is so freaking out in this moment, is that often this metaverse stuff comes across as cartoonish,
right,
or literal avatars. It didn't seem that immersive, really. It seemed always wonky. Looking at this, folks, this is the future. I think Lex goes on to say that.
See this, but this is incredible. The realism here is just incredible. Where am I? Where are you, Mark? Where are we?
You're in Austin, right?
No, I mean this place. We're shrouded by darkness with ultra realistic face, and it just feels like we're in the same room.
Now, this is not available to the everyday person because apparently both of them had to sit for hours as these programs scanned their facial features. They had to make different faces and whatnot. And the hope is that eventually their algorithms will get so good that you just use your phone to scan yourself for a few minutes, and it'll be this photorealistic.
Facebook's either going to like fall off the map and become nothing, or probably be bigger than Google or Apple. When I see a lot of this technology, I don't think there's any in between.
Yeah,
right. It is really amazing to see this progress. Like, I never had the desire to jump into the metaverse because, it might be fun to play a game or to try it out once or twice. But if this is the opportunity where you could be across the world and it's like we're sitting in the room like we are now, I think that's of incredible value.
The crazy part, too, imagine if you wanted to climb K2. You can put that on and literally go into that realm.
Right. Or where Zuckerberg talks about, he said, we hope to eventually get to where it's not you're just sitting there like you're doing a video call.
Yeah.
It's, you can, with haptics and whatnot, you could literally build something together. It's really remarkable where this is going. And you were one of the first people that were telling me about this, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's definitely big. I think the thing that excites me most is whether or not people use it. The future of the internet is not going to be anonymous the way it is today. Like Web 2.0, as they call it, is built where you don't have a profile picture, your name's anonymous. And like that's created a lot of this toxic behavior that we don't like today anyways.
Right.
And I think if this is the future, right, you're going to have your face somewhat integrated with that, and you'd be talking to people online the way you talk to people in person, which is completely different than when your name is anonymous and you can just say things that you have no accountability for. Exactly. So I think that's one positive that can come out of it.
But what about when that becomes an AI program? Say, again, I contact XI Repair and I want someone to talk to me through this problem. I mean, I could literally be talking to you. This could be a program where I feel like I'm in the room with you and you're just talking to me through the...
Well, that's already happened. I don't know if you saw, if you watched any of the Star Wars stuff, but that happened in The Mandalorian. I don't know if you guys watched that. But
yes. Yeah, I didn't even consider that.
Luke was he was not actually there.
Right.
It was not Mark Hamill. It was, AI essentially.
Seeing this, that's
forgot
where
all
I
about
thought
that.
this was going. No wonder the actors are striking.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, they see it's like, well, I mean, the actor's value is just like signing their face away and their voice. It's like there's no.
Well, and if I did, I think Tom Hanks, for instance, has the right to do that, to sign that contract, but he better demand a pretty big price. Like, give me $100 million, go make movies for the rest of the time. That sort of thing. But it is. It's hard to describe on the radio. I hope you can tell by the tone of our voices, hearing the guys actually using this stuff. It is a sea change compared to the usual, Avatar stuff that you're probably used to, folks. It's just remarkable to see that progressing. And that's our time right now, where it is like poison when it comes to politics. And I'm, look at the face of Hillary Clinton. It's really dumb, too, often. Like that debate we were just talking about, the last Republican debate. It was just dumb. And I don't blame Nikki Haley or Chris Christie or Vivek I don't blame the candidates. The format's dumb. Like
It's a broken format.
Yeah, it's completely
I think we all
broken.
think it's more stupid now when we compare that to even Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump's interview.
Right.
That was, at least there was like insightful. It was like, it wasn't, I learned something. Whether you agreed with it or not, I learned something. I didn't learn a thing at the last GOP debate except how embarrassing the GOP primary debates are right now.
And you're going,
That's the only
this
thing I
is
learned.
our leadership?
Right. This is who they want me to vote for?
Right.
Well, and it's like, okay, we're going to solve a big problem of political philosophy. So you're going to be the commie, Jonathan. I'll be the democratic socialist. Eddie will be the fascist. We'll also have somebody for, Republican forms of government, for direct democracy. We'll have like 8 or 10 of us representing different political philosophies. You might even get like thrown an altar, like all you integralists out there. I'm Catholic, but I hate that Catholic. And so, but imagine those complex ideas, which the issues facing the federal government are about as complex. And it's like, okay, we're not going to have a long form discussion where we're sober about it. You each get a minute. And you can also, we're not going to shut off your mics, but we might lower them a little bit. You can yell at each other while you have that 1 minute.
Well, it's third graders at recess.
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's absolute nonsense.
Well, it's good for their ratings, so that they have perverse
Well,
incentives.
right, and that's the thing.
That's the problem.
Who has the best interest of that thing going either way? It's the people who put it on.
We're
It's
sitting
the
here
ratings.
talking about Lex Friedman, who is probably next to Joe Rogan, probably a top 5 podcaster of
Oh,
all time
definitely.
right now. And it's like, if he did that, if he hosted the debate and it was in that format and ended up being that terrible, he would lose so much respect.
Yeah.
Right.
And CNN or any of these people that host him, it's like, that's what we've become to expect. I was not surprised, to be honest. That's
Well,
the normal, not the exception.
Eddie just mentioned your business, XI Repair. Let's talk about it. What do you got going on there at XI Repair? We often talk about your bread and butter is fixing smartphones, for instance. But y'all have a lot going on there.
Holiday season's coming up, so if you guys are interested in devices, I've got some prices here for us. We got iPhone 12s for as cheap as $450.
Ooh.
Got iPhone 11s for $360. iPhone SE, which is it's the one with the home button. It's the latest generation of that. It's only $200 right now, so you can get some affordable iPhones from us if you're not in need of a repair right now, and you'll come out a lot more on top than you would if you bought it from Verizon.
Oh,
or
definitely.
Even a big box store.
Nice.
We also handle the data transfers as well as activations for free, which most carriers and big box stores are not going to do for you. And if they do activate, it's going to be $40 or $50.
Yeah, $40. Yep.
So that saves you a lot of money as well as time, because we can typically do it right there on the spot. If you guys need a phone repair or a screen replacement, I'm sure they get this bill all the time, but we're always there for those services as well.
Well, y'all can always call them. Is the number still the same, 777-1234?
Don't plan on getting rid of that number anytime soon.
Oh, that's
good idea.
That is a good number right there, 777-1234. You can always go to xirepair.com. It's not just a great place to see what they have to offer. You can start a job immediately, get an immediate quote. So maybe you drop your phone at a party at 2 in the morning, it shatters. You can actually go to xirepair.com and get in the queue immediately there.
Saturday mornings at like 10 a.m. is one of the busiest times, because
Really?
Friday night, and we always joke because we have such crazy stories of between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. on Saturdays. It's like somebody came in, they've been at the bar all night, they left their phone on top of the car, they drove down the interstate, it flew off, they waited in the parking lot till we opened at 9:59. They were sitting there knocking, right? Like, we always hear the wildest stories that day of the week.
I don't feel so bad about mine now.
Y'all check out XI Repair today. And usually when we stop by, it's Greg and Kia there at the front desk. Be sure to tell them you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. And tell them, hey, I heard Jonathan on the radio.
Or Ray. Ray's great as well.
Yeah, oh yeah. And, well, we got to hit a break.
Let's break.
More news and views in the afternoon after this.
There are those that think I'm a very stable genius.
Joey Clark.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
May I help you? Well, howdy. I'm Bill the electrician. Come to wire up your new air compressors.
Oh, well, okay. Never seen an electrician pull up in a camo Jeep with deer antlers on the front.
Yeah, that 3 points of beauty, ain't it?
No matter what your electrician is driving, make sure it says Crosby Electric on the side. Crosby Electricians will take care of your electrical issues professionally and for a reasonable price.
Bill, you sure you know how to design these circuits?
Well, of course. And if I do get stuck, I got a secret weapon.
Oh, yeah?
YouTube.
Oh, boy.
Crosby Electric has been serving this area for over 50 years. We have the experience to do your job correctly.
Okay, let's try out these new air compressors.
Bill, you blew up my new compressors.
Yeah, sorry about that. Here, take my Jeep. It's yours.
What?
I'll just keep the horns, if that's okay.
Protect your property and yourself. Always call the experts at Crosby Electric or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This October, we're kicking off spooky season with our Truck or Treat giveaway at Wind Creek, Wetumpka, where you could win a new Ford F-150. Come play throughout September and October to earn entries. Then starting at 5 p.m. on Saturday, October 28th, we'll have drawings every 30 minutes for free play, cash, and a chance to win the ultimate tough-built vehicle, a new Ford F-150. Escape every day at Wind Creek Casino and on the Casinoverse app.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster.
Hey man, what's happening?
Now, I understand you radio people move a lot, is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money?
Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man.
Your money man?
With the money plan.
I see.
So no matter where I go up and down the dial, David has my back, you know?
I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with David Ernest.
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
And he has a website at retirewithernest.com.
Hey, you're on top of it today, man.
I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting.
Yes. I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air.
Why were you taken off the air?
Too much foul language, man. Oh my. So I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Big weather changes ahead as a cold front moves through the state today, with a few spotty showers ahead of the front. Unfortunately, not every town's going to get wet. That'll continue this evening and tonight as well. With a high today around 84, then it turns breezy and colder tonight behind the front, upper 50s for the overnight low temperature. Tomorrow, sunshine, breezy, much cooler, with a high of 74. Then clear skies with some jacket weather nights ahead. We'll be in the 40s Saturday and Sunday night. Sunday's high only up to about 72 with sunshine, blue skies. A great weekend at the Alabama National Fair. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Looking for a tractor, excavator, mower, ag implements, or other equipment? Capital Tractor is as close as your smartphone or computer. Find the best deals, financing information, and browse new and used inventory with just a click at capitaltractor.com.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark, and now we were talking about Vivek, and you really like this guy, right?
I don't know how you can't like this guy.
Right.
Yeah, but see, again, how old are you?
23.
Yeah, and I'll be 35 in December.
Well, he's got my attention. I'm 54.
You're a young soul.
I got a few miles on me.
I'm just saying, though, you're going to be 80 and still making fart jokes, all right?
I might be making fart jokes, but I don't know if I'll hit 80.
I know you're going to be 80. I know we've had this fight before, but we're going to stop now. But yeah, you're still going to be
that
cutting
Cadillac
up.
lifestyle doesn't get as many miles as the Corvette lifestyle does.
But this was a fascinating moment, and there's a follow-up interview after it because you always thought, well, the left-wingers were the ones who were anti-war, right?
Supposedly, right.
And I can't imagine like Jane Fonda doing this in the 60s and 70s, but this is Vivek. Outside an event, there was a protest put on against him.
Okay.
Because he wants to actually come up with some solution to this war between Ukraine and Russia. And let's listen to this back and forth. There's some real winners, I think, going on here.
Then they just misplaced people from Russia to go to Donbas region because we have steel plants. And you can see the movies.
And the history is
from around
long, no doubt about it. But the region, the
Russia-
fact of the matter is the regions of the Donbas that are occupied now are not even represented in Ukraine's government for the last 10 years.
Do you think Ukraine should be free?
Ukraine should be a sovereign nation. Absolutely.
So how is the U.S.
But I also
going
think
to? How is the U.S.
negotiate
going to
negotiate a path to peace that allows
And
Ukraine
what
to
is
come out
that
with its
path to
sovereignty
peace?
intact. Well,
What
NATO,
does that sovereignty look like to you?
a hard commitment that NATO will not admit
What does
Ukraine.
that sovereignty look like to you?
A hard commitment that
What does
NATO.
that sovereignty look like to you?
Whoa, dude.
Whenever you're, tell me when you're done, and then I'll answer the question.
Answer the question.
NATO will not admit Ukraine to NATO and should not admit Ukraine to
Why
NATO. Because we made a commitment in 1990, and I believe in standing by our commitments, that NATO would not expand 1 inch, not 1 inch past East Germany.
And the
That's
same
what James Baker
commitment,
told
Russia
Gordon
made a
Johnson.
commitment that it would not expand its territory.
And so that's the
We're
answer.
not.
What I want to say is I'm very glad that young people are engaged and passionate about these issues. So the fact of the matter is, I believe we have to stand by our commitments, but the job of the U.S. president is to look after U.S. interests and have a reasonable path to peace. And I think the path that we're on right now is not going to be good for Ukraine. It's not going to be good for America. It is taking us closer to major conflict with Russia that is going to be bad for everybody involved. And the people pushing us to do it are an establishment in both parties of people who are making money off that war. That is wrong, and that will change on my watch.
So what do you think?
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's what I was saying earlier. Now, Vivek is literally running to win. He's a politician running to win a campaign. and win an election. So he's going to be armed with arguments, and he's going to try to win conversations.
Sure.
But I do find it interesting. Like, if I had the chance to talk to him or any of these candidates, even the ones I disagree, I don't see it as my job. I see it as more rewarding and more fruitful to actually understand them and their point of view instead of just trying to dog them out, essentially, or back somebody to a corner. There's a use for a hard-hitting interview that's done in good faith, but often it's not done in good faith. It's just a bunch of gotcha crap. And it was interesting seeing him go back and forth on that. But, I mean, here's the knock I'm hearing a lot, Jonathan, is that isn't Vivek just like an RFK Jr. too? They're just a Twitter, internet thing. They're not really that popular. They're not really reaching Americans, especially not these young people who obviously watch, good sources like MSNBC or CNN. But, I mean, when you hear that sort of thing, where does your mind go?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind when I've had the same conversations with people is typically they're coming from older generations that relied on legacy media to get the coverage of who is the possible candidate.
Sure.
And so I don't think referring to a candidate today as a Twitter candidate, in my opinion, is a bad thing. Because quite frankly, that's where the eyeballs are. Don't believe me? Look at how many people Tucker Carlson's shows get. Way more than every legacy media today.
Oh, yeah.
True.
I mean, so I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's people not understanding where the eyeballs are and how political candidates are going to win going forward in the new technology world we live in. That's just the facts.
Now, he did go on, and this is why I think Vivek's also number 3 in national averages, just behind DeSantis. And I think he's going to overtake DeSantis soon. We'll see what happens in Iowa and New Hampshire. That'll be interesting to see how Christie does. And Christie's putting all his eggs in New Hampshire and South Carolina.
What choice he got?
He's actually polling kind of well in those states because he's been there.
I just find that hard to
believe. Me too, Jonathan. Me too.
Well, I give him his due in the sense that when you actually see him sit down and talk, you're like, oh, I get why this guy was popular. This guy actually is.
But I can't see people
a smart guy.
Your age and Jonathan.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not voting for Christie by any means.
Interesting, honestly.
But I could see how he might appeal to others besides me. But here is, this was Vivek. He's going on all media with Jesse Waters last night. It wasn't just that conversation we heard a snippet of, folks.
Yeah.
The protesters rammed Vivek's car.
Oh, I forgot. That's
I
right.
didn't know this. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Not enough.
Lovely people. The poison that's out there.
Yeah.
Listening.
Name calling, some profane language that I'm not going to use on this program. Mostly young people, but what I see in their eyes, Jesse, is that they're lost. They're hungry for a cause, some cause. One is complaining about my policy on shutting down teachers' unions, another on climate change, another calling me transphobic, another opposing my position on Ukraine. So it was a diverse smattering of concerns, a lot of name calling. But what I saw is really a bunch of people who were really lost and hungry for direction. And at the point when I told them, look, I congratulate you for expressing your free speech rights, when they cut me off in responding, I said, tell me know when you're done. And then I responded to them. What I saw was a softening. And I have hope that young people in this country, many of whom think they hate this country, they don't really hate this country. I think they're just lost in search of purpose and meaning. And it is our job as leaders not just to vilify those young people. The people who hit the car should be held accountable. But more importantly, to give them direction for where we're leading this country. And so I'm trying to lead by example. We can't just preach about free speech. We'll respect their rights to protest. But I hope that also results in more people in this country hearing my message and the pro-American message we're spreading.
Yeah, and he could have come out and been throwing bombs, but you see that tends to be
every person on the debate stage did. One of the things that I can't stand about all the other candidates on that stage is that one of the things that the arguments they were making against Vivek is like that age and that his experience is the reason why he'll be a failure. It's like, guys, what about Donald Trump? Right. Whether you agree with him or not, I mean, he did do some good things, right? And he had zero political experience. Why the heck has our country gotten to a point where everything is like, if you haven't ran for office, you're a failure? It's like, guys, go run a freaking company. It is way harder. You know the difference between my company and the U.S. government? If we don't make a profit, we go out of business and we don't freaking eat.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's like, so if you think that where you can just run an endless check, if you had an endless bank account where you can eat whenever you want.
How would you run your business,
exactly.
Jonathan? If I said, Jonathan,
it wouldn't matter.
Man, whatever check you write, I got your back. You just go do what you want to do.
And that's the U.S. government. So I don't get how people on the left and the right today are saying that somehow running a business is nowhere near the level of running the U.S. government. Quite frankly, it's much harder.
Well, not only that, as much like you, myself, my business is my baby. So you got to be doing a pretty crappy job at the government to make me leave my business to come show you how to do your damn job. And that's what kills me. These people get out of business to go do it, like Donald Trump. To me, granted, the guy's a bit of an egomaniac, but at the same time, he knows what he's doing. He knows he knows because he paid for some of the people to even get in office, and he doesn't hide from that. He doesn't claim to be a perfect person, but look at the benefits we had having a businessman in that office as opposed to what we got in there now and what we've had in the past.
Yeah,
he's not afraid to call people out on their BS, and those people know that. Whether it's a state senator or somebody from across the Putin, for example. I think Putin had a much healthier relationship with Donald Trump than probably any other president in the past. Mainly because he just didn't quite get him. He kept him guessing.
Yes. Right. And as soon as you thought you knew Trump, Trump would do something crazy. Yeah. No, I think the madman theory actually worked. I think Trump was very conscious of it. And also, it's always refreshing, folks. Go watch, I watched Trump on 1992 with Charlie Rose. Well, Charlie, I'm coming back. Like, when you see him young, you're like, oh, no, this guy has been this way for a long, 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 long time. And so there is a weird honesty to how authentic he is, even though he is often hyperbolic and just he's not always like literally truthful. It's more just how he presents himself is very authentic. But before we keep going here in a second, I'm going to bring up another one of the candidates who's still leading Vivek in the sort of JV team right now is Ron DeSantis.
Ronnie D, he's kind of fell off, Joe.
He has, but in a second we'll give him his due and the message he's putting out lately. But first, another great business that supports this show here is Pest Pro Services.
Great folks, homie.
And Ashley and her team there at Pest Pro, well, they're the best. That's all I have to say, really.
They take care of my rentals. They take care of my personal property. And one of the greatest things is I don't have to worry about it. I just know it's taken care of. Like when they're going to my rentals, I'll usually get a notice a day or so before, a text, and so does my client. The tenant itself. So they're in, they're out. I have no pest problems anymore. Before I had a different company, they kind of did things the way they wanted to. Pest Pro takes care of me. They put their clients first, and I appreciate that.
Right, and so whether you've got a specific need like dealing with termites or mosquitoes, or you just want an everyday pest control company that has your back, they got your back there at Pest Pro Services. And, of course, they have some of the latest, newest technology they can bring to your home to fix any pest control problem you might have. But I think the secret sauce there at Pest Pro are the people.
Yes.
Like, they're really easy to work with. They're great folks. I know Ashley's always giving back to the local community. And those are the type of people you want to work with. So call them up today, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. You can also go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and the team you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Now, let's give Ronnie D his due here. This is, surrounded by police officers. All right. That's a strong image right there. Let's listen in.
A voter that goes to 10 rallies, their vote counts the same as somebody that's unenthusiastic and then goes and votes. And we just have to understand that. And people will act like 2020, they're like, Biden was such a disaster. But here's the thing. I don't think anybody voted for Biden, okay? They were voting against Trump. That was why they did it. I mean, let's just be honest. He energized Democrats. You could have John Kennedy walk through the door right now and he wouldn't energize Democrats as much as Donald Trump does. That's just the reality. What did we do in Florida with these Democrats? We defeated these Democrats. We left the Democratic Party in Florida in a pile of ruins. They're dead. In fact, if you go back 2019, 2018, or 2019, 2020, the Democrats had like 300,000 more registrations than we did as Republicans. And partially because of our leadership during COVID, that really started to change. So by the time I got reelected in November, we had 300,000 more Republicans than Democrats. And we never had more R's than D's in Florida history. We did that with me being governor. But here's the best part. 300,000 advantage. Today, that advantage is 600,000. We've added another 300,000. advantage in 1 year. I mean, are you kidding me?
No, we're not kidding you, Ron. But I don't know. Let's start with Eddie. What'd you think of that?
They need to add a little bass to his voice. I think that's part of the issue.
Yeah, Romex Angler was actually asking on the live stream here, where do I turn the EQ on this microphone to get so
he's
much
noticed that too, huh?
boom in my voice? No, I naturally modulate it. I can get high pitch. Now DeSantis is real nasally. I noticed that.
And I've lost a little bit of luster for him. I still think he's a strong top three for sure.
Sure.
Better than anybody else that was on that stage the other night besides Vivek. Vivek still got me.
It's just I don't fully trust DeSantis to carry that sort of mantle, that reframe that Trump has put out there.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Ron not on every single podcast and in TV interview that you can possibly get? Like he doesn't do anything. You know, Patrick B. David said his team reached out to him numerous times for valuetainment, and like they would not only would they not say yes or no, they just wouldn't respond. Like he was saying, like his team's just not hungry.
I could appreciate it if there was a lot going on in Florida and he just doesn't have time because he's the governor of Florida. I would appreciate the fact knowing that he's still doing that. But there's not. I mean, Florida right now they're in the middle of a hurricane system, but there's no huge weighing factor by the governor. Couldn't be like most other governors when they run for president. Be anywhere and everywhere at all times.
Yeah, I think the loyalty thing's a big thing. If it does come down to Trump and DeSantis on the debate stage, I think Trump's going to run over him when he just goes, "Look, man, you're disloyal.
Yeah,
I got you elected, and now you're running against me. Like, what a slap in the face."
Well, and what did you say? We saw at the GOP dinner here in Alabama when Trump was the keynote speaker.
Like, and Ron DeSanctimonious, he came to me. He had tears in his eyes. He was crying. He said, "Please help me. Adam Putman, I didn't even know this guy. He's whooping me. Please, Donald."
What a contradiction to going on stage and saying, "I turn all of these people Republican. You know, we've added all of these people," when that's probably somewhat an exaggeration, but also partially true.
Oh, yeah.
The scenes.
Well, a lot of people moved there.
Yeah.
A lot of conservatives moved there during COVID. And to his credit, it's because of their policies, but it's also those folks were already Republicans. They just moved there.
Or already planning to move there.
Right.
How many retirees
300,000 people?
How many retired people from across the country move to Florida each year that are over 55?
The villages, hello.
Yeah, right.
Hello.
Let's quickly go to Dennis here. Hey, Dennis, how you doing?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing today?
Doing good, Dennis. How you doing, brother?
Good. I tell you, one of the interesting news stories last day is that new congressional district we're going to have now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There'll be a bunch of candidates. I was going to ask you, what's y'all's thought of maybe Dick Brubaker running for that seat?
I would be for it. He actually called the show a couple days ago and said he's very much thinking about it. He was just waiting for the actual lines to be drawn.
Right.
Yeah, if that happens, man, that's going to be quite a race there if it's him and Stephen Reed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting who jumps in the Dem primary because there's not – everybody's in agreement. This whole idea of Democrats always agree, not in Alabama. And and I'm sure there's going to be more than just Dick Brubaker who maybe jumps into that race on the Republican side. So the primary should be fascinating. We just had on a gentleman that is running against Gary Palmer. We had him on at the 12 o'clock hour, Jarek.
Yeah. Well, I just wondered that about that. Everybody thinks Stephen Reed would be the favorite, but as you get down to Mobile, the ADC's not that strong in Mobile like it is up here.
Right. He'd be the local favorite, but I don't know how far that favoritism would carry.
No, it would be a real competition just because you have, say, built-in numbers and you're assuming folks are going to vote a certain way. Right. You still got to get the vote out and you got to inspire folks.
Yeah.
And especially with Dick Brubaker, it'd be hard to paint him as some Trump, big landowner. Is the ghost of George Wallace coming? Like all this stuff. Like, give me a break. You know Dick Brubaker.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all are a joke.
Everybody knows him.
Right.
Everybody's very familiar.
Yeah, I just wonder, this district's going to look different, guys. I know Pike County's in the soon-to-be new district. Crenshaw County's still in it, I think. Barber County and Russell County and Phoenix City, I believe. And you got some of the Conecuh County and Evergreens and all that. That's going to be quite a dynamic race to watch. You know, I tell you, you're going to have that's going to be pretty interesting. I was going to ask you something else, guys. How much longer do you think Mike Rogers is still going to be in the Congress?
Well, he's well funded because the game he plays well.
He plays it well. Yes, he does.
So he's going to be a
Like it
tough
or not.
person to beat, being the chair of armed services there in the House.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
he'll be there as
All
long as
right.
he wants to be there.
All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
You
Thank
too. Thank you,
Appreciate
Dennis.
it, Dennis.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, like we said, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot of candidates call it
Yeah.
in because we got in our listening radius a lot of different districts. It's kind of works out for us.
Sure.
Now, Steve Marshall and then put out a big statement about it, the Attorney General
Saw that.
of these new maps. We'll get to that in a second. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and her team, well, they're ready to help you if you're looking to buy a home. Could be your first-time home buyer. I can think of nobody better than Kim Williams to walk you through that process.
Exactly right, Joe.
But it could be it's not your first rodeo. You just want to work with folks you actually trust. Could be you've bought a home before, but it was kind of a nightmare. Like there were surprises on closing day. That ain't going to happen with Alabama Home Mortgage.
Nope.
And, well, all the rage these days are refis, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because, well, people... One
Tucked around
thing
a lot
we
of
were
credit card
kind
debt.
of getting at with talking about the economy, savings levels are just...
All-time low.
Yeah. So people are now relying on debt, often credit card debt,
Mm-hmm.
and those APR, it's 25... I got one in the mail, it was 29.99.
Get you one right now,
Some are
Joey.
higher.
29.
Wow, some are higher than
I've
that?
seen
sure.
some 30, 31, 32 ones.
And they're going to keep going up.
Right.
They will keep going up.
So if you're like, well, a mortgage rate is 7, 8, 9%, I'm like, yeah, that's a lot better than
Right.
30
Do some
something
math.
percent on a credit card. And so they can help you out with a great refinance deal at Alabama Home Mortgage. And if you're a veteran, you especially want to work with them because they're VA home loan certified. If you haven't taken advantage of these benefits you earn through your service, you're leaving money on the table. It really is the best game in town. I think in refinance world, you could refinance up to 100% of your home's value.
On the VA, you bet,
Which
man.
is a pretty amazing deal. So check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. That number 567-4223. That's 567-4223. You can also visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. More news and views in the afternoon after this. I think we're going to have Michael Cohen on
right.
the line here.
Isn't
How
it?
much more time you got here? You got to run?
I got to run, man.
All right.
It's good to see you,
It's
man.
Great
fun.
seeing you, man.
Yeah,
Really
as
is.
always. It's been a good time.
And let's do this again soon rather than later, all right?
See you, buddy.
More news and views after.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Do you have a cell phone or tablet that isn't charging, dying fast, or maybe the screen is damaged? Don't get suckered into buying a new one. XI Repair can fix your current device same day and in under 30 minutes. Their certified technicians fix and recover data from thousands of cell phones, computers, tablets, game consoles, and drones 7 days a week. Give them a call today at 334-777-1234 or visit them online at xirepair.com.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Here on a Friday.
Friday, baby. You got big plans for the weekend, Joe?
I do not. I'm taking it easy. I mean, a lot at the house and no big plans. What do you mean, big plans?
I don't know. What you might got going on? Alabama's set up for a big ball game this weekend. I think they've got Texas. think they might have a loss coming their way.
Yeah, Auburn's got a bye. My
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers have got a bye. So I guess, it's Alabama I'll be watching here.
Be a good game. Alabama's always competitive. I give them a lot of crap, but, man, they're very competitive.
Do you have any big plans?
No, man, I'm working.
What?
Dude, all I do is work.
I thought the song was All I Do Is Win.
No, but, I do a little bit of winning, but to get those wins going, you got to put in some time. But no, I'll be up at the other house. In fact, maybe I'll call you and Brandon come up, take a look at the new place.
The new? Oh, yeah. You've been putting in a lot of work on that,
Still
so I
got
would
a lot
like
to
to
do,
see
but
it.
yeah, it's coming along nicely.
Now, coming up on the show, there's plenty more to get into, including what we just said about Attorney General Marshall and his statement reacting to these new maps, the new districts for Congress in that congressional race coming up in 2024. Did you see the KI? Miss it? Let's send the National Guard down to the border. It was to help process these folks or whatever it is. Excuse me, miss it. No, 275 National Guard troops into the southern border to aid in the illegal immigration crisis.
So are we sending them down there to help process them, or are we sending them down there to help guard the border? What's the exact job? Well, I would like to know what their mission is, and I bet they would too.
Well, and also in other news, Barry Moore, our congressman, pledges support for Donald Trump as Speaker on first ballot, Jim Jordan in subsequent ballots.
I saw that the other
And
day.
the big news is that Trump has officially endorsed Jim Jordan. And he's calling members of Congress to really push through Jordan. I think Jim Jordan's an
I think he'll do
improvement.
great. I was hoping Donnie would say, look, let me think about it, guys. I'll see if I can find somebody. And then call him tomorrow and go, it's me. That's the only guy I can find is me.
We'll be right back. Final hour news and views coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Biden says the latest job numbers amount to good news for the economy. The president touting the creation of 336,000 jobs in September, which was a surprisingly strong number. The unemployment rate remains at 3.8%. A Russian missile strike has killed a 10-year-old boy and wounded 24 other people in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. This comes a day after a strike in the same region killed at least 50 civilians. The hospital strike against Kaiser Permanente will end today. However, the UAW strike against the big three automakers will continue. On Wall Street, stocks have been higher. The Dow is up 380 points and the Nasdaq adding 220. This is SRN News.
This decade may be the worst one yet to retire in. That's why you need the most current retirement information. For more than 30 years, Bob Carlson has been helping investors stay ahead of turbulent markets and money-grubbing politicians. Now, more than ever, you need to subscribe to Bob Carlson's Retirement Watch. Bob makes sure his Retirement Watch readers are getting independent advice on all aspects of retirement. It's advice you won't get anywhere else. When you subscribe to Retirement Watch, you'll get 12 months of the newsletter. You'll also get 5 model portfolios. Plus, you'll get immediate access to the Retirement Watch private website with tons of special reports. You'll also get an online spending calculator to help you deal with inflation. Plus, exclusive conference calls with Bob Carlson, answering your retirement questions live. All for as little as $49.95. Try it for 30 days. And if you're not satisfied, cancel and we'll refund your money. Sound fair? Sign up today at retirementelders.com. Retirementelders.com. That's retirementelders.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Big weather changes ahead as a cold front moves through the state today with a few spotty showers ahead of the front. Unfortunately, not every town's going to get wet. That'll continue this evening and tonight as well. With a high today around 84, then it turns breezy and colder tonight behind the front, upper 50s for the overnight low temperature. Tomorrow, sunshine, breezy, much cooler with a high of 74. Then clear skies with some jacket weather nights ahead. We'll be in the 40s Saturday and Sunday night. Sunday's high only up to about 72 with sunshine, blue skies. A great weekend at the Alabama National Fair. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
1819 News.
I'm Russ Jones, filling in for Andrea Tice. U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville spoke on the recent ousting of House Speaker Kevin McCarthy from his position as Speaker of the House. On Tuesday, Congress voted to vacate the seat. The unprecedented 216 to 210 vote drew unanimous support from House Democrats, with only 8 Republicans joining to vote in favor. According to Tuberville, McCarthy's ousting leaves many unanswered questions over GOP effectiveness during rushed debates over government spending. Tuberville also echoed Trump's sentiments calling for unity in forwarding the party's priorities. More Alabama news to come after this.
Brian Dawson here, CEO of 1819 News. I'm also the host of 1819 News, the podcast, and we'd love for you to join us by listening to our weekly show on all the top podcast apps, both in audio and video format. At 1819 News, the podcast, we are in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. Every week, we're having important conversations with guests from across this great state, all with the goal of equipping Alabamians to be in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama with us. New episodes are released weekly. I hope you'll join us.
On Thursday, a suspect who had barricaded himself at the Ramada Inn in Tuscaloosa was apprehended by numerous law enforcement agencies. After 2 hours of text message and phone negotiations, the suspect was finally taken into custody by the Tuscaloosa Police Department Special Response Unit and U.S. Marshals. The suspect eventually gave himself up. The map a federal court picked for the 2024 congressional elections in Alabama was the most Democratic of the 3 options, according to the Alabama GOP. I'm Russ Jones.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Kia of Auburn invites you to come by and experience the all-new electric vehicle, the 2023 Kia KV6. It is gorgeous and as practical as it is cool. Just think of the thousands of dollars you'll save in gas and time you'll save by not going in for oil changes, plus the added benefit to our environment. Kia of Auburn, a proud supporter of Auburn University Athletics. Kia of Auburn, where you are always number 1. KiaofAuburn.com.
Enjoy an evening of wine on the water at the 13th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival, Friday, October 13th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Union Station Train Shed. This event includes a variety of wine tastings, food vendors, and live music by the Park Band and Funk Nation. Must be 21 or over to purchase a ticket. Tickets available online at mgmcityevents.com or montgomeryal.gov. Proceeds will go to Second Chance Foundation, sponsored by Publix, Vintage Year, and the City of Montgomery Department of Cultural Affairs.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house. And so, yeah, the story is that Kay Ivey is sent down $200 and 75 National Guard troops to the border. Now, what do we assume these folks are doing?
I would like to assume that they're going down there to secure the border. So if you have people that sneaking across the river, whatever it may be, they stop them, arrest them, detain them, make them go back, whatever. But I'm concerned what they'll be doing is something else.
Like just processing people?
Yep.
Yeah.
And imagine, Joey, if you were one of those soldiers that put up his arm and swore to protect the Constitution, the United States, and you're sent to do this.
Now, the Alabama federal delegation, though, Eddie, that includes both senators and a lot of members of Congress, but Coach Tuberville says Alabama is stepping up and doing Joe Biden's job for him, sharing that Kay Ivey sending those 275 troops to the southern border. Senator Katie Britt, when our nation is in crisis, Alabamians will always answer the call of duty. Thank you for your continued leadership, Governor Kay Ivey.
That sounds all good, assuming they're going down there. But once they get down there, they're under somebody else's command. I don't think the governor's going to be there on the border with them, telling them what to do.
Robert Adderholt, congressman here from Alabama. I'm glad to see Governor Ivey is sending troops to protect our border. She and other governors are doing what the Biden administration refuses to do, defend our border, not just from the flow of illegal immigrants, but the fentanyl pouring across, killing our citizens. Yeah, okay. I guess more trained folks, the better, but exactly what are they allowed to do, to our point? But speaking of Senator Britt, she was recently on with Larry Kudlow. Let's listen into a portion of this here.
Britt, when I hear the White House say catch and deport, or when I hear them say remain in Mexico, then I'll know that they finally sobered up about this problem. The rest of it to me is just a lot of political malarkey, honestly. You know, I mean, it's like, who do you believe here? Your own eyes or this rhetoric from the White House press room?
Thank you. That's exactly what we need to hear them say. We are going to secure the border. We're going to put back in the Remain in Mexico policy. We're going to create a secure third country policy. We are going to work to actually change what is happening on the border each and every day, which means we're going to secure it, because right now it is an absolute crisis. I want you to look back and think back to under President Obama, where Secretary Jay Johnson said if we have 1,000 encounters a day, 1,000, that would be a crisis. We now have 10 to 11,000 people a day crossing our border, and yet Secretary Mayorkas won't call it a crisis. We have to start by admitting we're having a problem, and then he has to have the political courage and the will to actually make change.
Well, and it seemed like there was a slide change going on where they're going to build portions of the wall, but then Mayorkas is like, you're actually taking that out of context? But then I thought Biden said, well, we got to build some of it. Like, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth.
That surprised you?
But the entire Alabama leadership, from our state leadership to federal leadership, is all about this issue. And they're on top of it. I think it is a real issue, for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
It's crazy when you see what's going on. That whole corridor is just... like, again, I go back to that Elon Musk video where he actually went down to the border, and you see that it's pretty organized, but it's thousands and thousands and thousands of it.
Here through hold on, let me lay this blanket down on the barbed wire. All right, now come on across. That's how it seems to be organized. Not organized in a sense of the way I like it, where it's, it looks like these people are having at least a hard time coming across instead of the open red carpet treatment.
Let's go to Michael. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Hey, Joey, enjoying y'all's show as always.
Thank you, sir.
Was calling in with 2 points. I listened yesterday, and you were talking about how they were taking all of the extra materials and selling them off on government.com, but now they decide they want to build. So here we are again needing more money for something when it was already sitting there. And my second point would be, how do we know they're not down there registering new Democratic voters coming across the border?
You're good point. I mean, we don't know what they're doing. We have no idea what they're doing.
Never any accountability, but I appreciate y'all's show and enjoy listening. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you, Michael. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by New Look Decorating Center.
Hey, I was over there today.
You were?
I literally, before I come to the show, doing a little project up at the lake, I've got some material, this type of wood that I'm not sure how to paint. So I walked in there. Brett saw me. We talked for a second. This is how good it was. I said, hey, Brett, I told him what I got, this type of Trex board. He's like, I got just the solution for you, Eddie. We looked down. He said, what time you got to be at the show? I was like, well, we start at 12. It was 11:15. He said, all right, let's hurry up and pick out a color so we can get you out of there. 11:22, I walked out of there.
Wow.
So at that time when we were mixing the color, he was telling me exactly how I need to apply it. We kind of had a few jokes on you going back and forth.
What do you mean?
No, let's not worry about that. But he was able to give me a neutral color. I don't have to check with my wife. Everyone agreed this is going to be the right color to do. And I was in and out of there, bang, bang, boom. Then I got to come see you.
What jokes?
Let's not worry about that.
Well, I do know that Brett Lanham's a great guy, and he's a pro. He's a true pro
Dude,
over there.
He knew.
He's a champ when it comes
literally
to paint.
from when I came in there, because it's this type of material. It's engineered lumber. And I was like, what kind of paint's going to stick to it? This, that, and the other. And he's like, yeah, if you would have done what you were thinking, that wouldn't have worked. You need this permanent stain, and that's what we were able to get.
So
and quickly, within 10 minutes.
That's amazing. So this is like just a perfect example of how great they are there at New Look Decorating Center. They are a Benjamin Moore dealer there, so they can match any competitor paint color and that high-quality Benjamin Moore paint. Again, as Eddie's driving those stain supplies. And, of course, you're not just helping this 40-year local business like the Montgomery economy.
Right.
You are helping out the larger Alabama economy, one of the largest plants for Benjamin Moore.
Here in Alabama.
Right here in Alabama, Pell City, Alabama. So you can always stop by like Eddie did, say hi to Brett Lanham, the manager, or Jordan, or Katie. And Katie is, if you're interested in wallpapers and fabrics, Katie is the person to go see.
She didn't think our jokes about you were so funny. So you might have a friend in her, just so you know.
What were these jokes? I thought you said, let's not worry about it. No,
Let's
you
not
don't get
worry
to keep
about that.
bringing it up. We're in the middle of an ad.
I'm telling you, you have a
So
friend.
y'all, thank you for that, Katie. Y'all check out New Look Decorating Center today. 271-0007. That's 271-0007. And, of course, you can always go to newlookdecoratingcenter.com.
Ah, yes.
But I really encourage you to do what Eddie did. Just leave out the jokes on me. 6237 Atlanta Highway. Here in Montgomery, right where Bell Road dead ends to Atlanta Highway. You'll see it in all its glory. Benjamin Moore's New Look Decorating Center. And
Great
be sure to
folks,
tell
man.
them you heard about him here from Joey and Eddie on News and Views in the afternoon. Now, this is a short clip of Biden talking about the border wall, partial one that's being. Let's hear what this genius has to say.
I'll answer one question on the border wall. The border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to reappropriate, to redirect that money. They didn't. They wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what was appropriated. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
The border wall doesn't work. Okay.
All right. Hey, why is there a wall around where the Pope lives?
Why is there a wall around where Joe lives?
In fact, he got a new, bigger wall at his personal residence. Did you know
Did he?
that? Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he did.
But, and honestly, Eddie, we're just falling for right-wing poison. We need to be reprogrammed, like Hillary was suggesting. Because here is Alejandro Mayorkas. And Alejandro Mayorkas, well, he has a message to us right-wingers that need to be deprogrammed, that calm down, slow your roll. You're taking things out of context.
I want to address today's reporting relating to a border wall and be absolutely clear.
Okay.
There is no new administration policy with respect to the border wall. Allow me to repeat that. There is no new administration policy with respect to the border wall. From day one, this administration has made clear that a border wall is not the answer. That remains our position, and our position has never wavered. The language in the Federal Register notice is being taken out of context, and it does not signify any change in policy whatsoever. I want.
Okay.
So, do they legally? Am I wrong? They have to build the wall now? Am I missing something here?
Yeah, that's where I'm confused. And then I think he's saying that because AMLO, the Mexican president, is calling Biden out for going back on his word.
Well, they should.
Or something. Like, it's just all so, well, like I said, poison.
Well, the Mexican
Bunch of BS.
president's probably angry because if they build that wall tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of people stuck in his country that he don't want there either.
Well, and the wall is a symbol now.
Oh.
Like an actual wall probably in certain parts needs to be built.
Yes.
But, they got tunnels.
And?
A pretty big tunnel. Not
You're
like,
right, but
Great Escape.
I've never seen a tunnel where you can put a camera on it like they do down at the border now and see thousands of people lined up coming across. Granted, they probably got a tunnel, but Joey, what's wider, a bridge or a tunnel? How many people can come across a bridge?
These are some big tunnels moving like big rig trucks.
All right.
The cartels are using them mostly.
I'm not denying they're there, but I'm telling you, if nothing else, at least make the job harder. Do some kind of attempt.
Well, I mean, their point of view is, no, these people are coming. We got to let them in. We're processing them. We're giving them court dates.
Well, plus with Israeli technology, we can find tunnels pretty easy.
Right. Yeah, we could. But I don't think we want to. I think that's
I think you're onto something there, Joey.
The dirty little secret.
Yeah.
I don't think they want to.
If they build a wall, it'll be 3 bricks high.
Right. 272-9228. The wall just got 10 feet taller. If only he had been able to actually get that done. But you can thank the Republicans, the miserable Republicans, for not helping him out there early on. Like, didn't they have both houses of Congress?
Yep. Hey, weren't they going to get rid of Obamacare?
Yeah.
If they only had the opportunity? Hey.
So let's do a palate cleanser, something that will make us laugh.
But you got some Lysol or something?
No. Lysol is a palate cleanser.
For this kind of crap, yeah.
Is there any way to inject it inside the body? Which, if you took that seriously, you're the dope. He was clearly making a joke in that particular case. But this is somebody... you're seeing the purple-haired lady. No, but this is somebody who cut together, nature documentaries like Planet Earth. And some of them I can't take. He's like, the polar bear will not have ice to... I don't know why I'm using this ice. But the polar bear will not have ice to sit on next season if climate change
It's such a lie, but
continues.
Okay.
The habitat of the squaw is going.
I'm telling you, soon they're going to tell us that we're going to have to start sacrificing virgins for climate change. It's coming, Joey.
Yeah, well, and not just once.
Right.
So you better.
They'll say, well, it wasn't a virgin after all. We got to
better
go find
start
a true
doing
virgin.
the Funky Cole Medina or something like that. Is that a word for it?
All right.
All right. But somebody put together. This is essentially like a David Attenborough documentary.
Okay.
But not about polar bears, not about squaw or birds or the African plains.
All right.
This is about politicians, swamp creatures in Washington, D.C. So let's listen into this together, Eddie, shall
we?
In the swamps of Washington, D.C., we witness a most peculiar event. A group of tax dollar parasites gathers to discuss funding the lives of the very taxpayer that they rely upon for their existence. Somehow, these parasites cannot agree to give the American people any of the tax money that has been confiscated from them against their will. Yet they have been sending $223 million to a corrupt foreign regime every day for over a year. This group of parasites has become filthy rich from corruption, insider trading, influence peddling, and theft. The alpha parasite, known as a jackass, and his offspring, the dumbass, have been some of the most successful tax dollar parasites in history.
Yes.
Sending historic amounts of cash to a corrupt foreign regime and receiving kickbacks as 10% for the big guy. As if sending all your cash to Borat was not enough, the alpha parasite and his minions have opened the southern borders. In an attempt to garner enough votes to remain in power, the parasites have opened the southern border, allowing millions of unvetted immigrants to suckle at the teat of our welfare system, bringing our social services to the brink of collapse while gaining new voters. As this elderly jackass nears the end of its life cycle...
They're talking about Biden if you're not watching the video with us.
A truth evident by his garbled speech and lack of bowel control. The elder jackass will attempt to transfer his power and influence to this younger, more intellectually deficit jackass.
Kamala.
However, the younger jackass's lack of intellect and mule-like face has left it so unelectable that power can only be transferred through the death of the elder jackass. If you love America, please spay or neuter your political jackasses or vote them out of office.
I really like that.
Yeah, I thought that was well done. Wholesome, even.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a little bit of poison in that. That's what I mean, folks. The poison's everywhere.
Yeah, but some of that poison, Joey, is a truth pill, man.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
there's a lot of truth
that's
to it.
truth.
Yeah, but it's really what a time to be alive. Again, the whole idea that the Republican Party, it's just because the establishment within the Democratic Party is much stronger than the one in the Republican Party. In fact, I almost see the Republican establishment as kind of another wing of the Democratic Party, or some might call it the Uniparty or the Deep State or whatever. But we're obviously getting played, folks. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. That's 272-9228. This part...
If you wouldn't mind. What was the name of that bit? Can you pull it? I'm sorry.
Go to notthebee.com.
Okay.
And Harambe posted this one.
Harambe.
Mm-hmm.
I love Harambe. He does good stuff.
Yeah. Notthebee.com, and it's whoever made this mini doc on Washington politicians, narrated by AI David Attenborough. I love you.
That was really good.
Yeah. No, very well done. Very well done indeed. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. Now, Montgomery Men's Health, they can help you out with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they can, Joey.
You know, you can not only get your testosterone score there, quick blood draw, but at the same time, they're going to get you a testosterone score and a PSA score. That's a good marker for prostate health.
It's a lot less invasive way to do it. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah. And so if you're dealing with all these symptoms of being run down, tired all the live long day, you're haunted by past dreams of your younger self.
Oof.
Like, you could go all day, you could go all night without petering out.
Yeah.
Maybe you're never in the mood.
That happens too.
And your wife's hot.
Yeah.
But you're just like, ugh.
You're getting a little frustrated.
It could be that you have low T. Or it could be, a metabolism issue. It could be something else. But at Montgomery Men's Health, you know what? They're going to be able to pinpoint that. So what you need to do is call them up, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. And they have treatments there, especially when it comes to low testosterone, that can truly change your life. Most men experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns. You may even notice an increased libido.
Mm-hmm.
And there ain't much wrong with that.
Not at all, Joey.
I think there's actually a lot right with it. So check out Montgomery Men's Health today. They specialize in men's health care and are reinventing men's health care here in the river region. Prioritizing your health as a man has never been more important. Again, that number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com and be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. More News and Views after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your fall market report on real estate in the River Region. From January through September of 2023, close to 3,600 homes have sold and closed in our area through area realtors. Our average sales price is approximately $250,000, which makes us one of the most affordable areas in the state to buy a house. So far this year, sellers that listed with an area realtor were blessed with a sales price that was 98% of the listed price or possibly above listed price. Because we have had a severe shortage of houses on the market, the buyers have had to look a little longer to find a home that satisfied their needs. Even with higher rates, local mortgage lenders have found ways for buyers to buy down rates on their mortgages and making the transition from tenants to home ownership possible. For all the details, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Next contestant, Honey, you look confused. What's wrong?
I'm having a hard time remembering to take my medications like I'm supposed to. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to worry you.
I'm glad you told me, because I heard that Adams Drugs has a medicine on time service that will package your monthly medications and make them easier to manage. Our neighbors, Bill and Leslie, mentioned the other day that they use Adams and how they have made it so easy for them to manage their medications.
Do you think we can call Adams Drugs or go by there and see if they can help me? I don't want to get to the point where you have to put me into an assisted living home.
Why don't you get your medications together right now, and let's go down to Adams and talk to the pharmacist.
How much does the medicine on time service cost?
I asked Bill that same question, and he told me it's a free service for Adams customers.
Free? Wow, I'm feeling really good about this already. Let me grab my meds list.
Call Adams Drugs Medicine on time for your pharmacist consultation. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for more information on our Medicine on Time packaging service.
It's the 70th Alabama National Fair, October 6th through the 15th. Enjoy the rides, circus, shows, and the food.
Opening day, get in for $1 when you bring a non-perishable food item for the food bank.
And check the fair's outside stage with nightly entertainment, plus all the free shows daily.
Save time. Skip the line, buy in advance from the fair website or the free fair app in your app store.
17 and under must be accompanied by a parent or guardian, 21 years of age or older.
It's the best 10 days of fall.
The Alabama National Fair.
Sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery, Hyundai Motor Manufacturing Alabama, and Coca-Cola.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. This part of the program brought to you by Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Normally we talk to Michael on the phone, but he's busy today.
A little bit busy work today.
But it's always good to hear.
Yes, sir.
And of course, it's in the name, Electronics and Appliances there at Cohen's.
Right.
And so we could go through like all these amazing TVs they have. In fact, I bought, I'm not ashamed to say it.
Go ahead and say it.
85-inch Samsung TV there. Been watching a lot of, I rewatched Gangs of New York, Good Will Hunting, and Let It Ride all in one night.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, why is Joey not working? Well, I had to watch some movies.
It's research to do.
But it's not just the TVs. They have amazing audio solutions for you. So if you want that full surround experience, especially with that Dolby Atmos and a wireless experience to boot in that regard, you're not running speaker wires all over the place. They have stuff like that. They have all sorts of appliances for the kitchen or maybe washer-dryer units if you so choose. They really can do it all. But beyond the products, there's a reason, folks.
Service, right?
Yes. They've been coming back for, well, over 65 years.
When you got your
generational.
When you got your TV delivered, did they just plug it in, hand you the remote, and say, "See you, Joey"?
No. He waited until I was satisfied with how it was set up.
Kind of taught you how to roll through the channels, how to get this thing powered up. And
no, I told him I got that. I'm fine. No, he helped out with some of the basics like the Wi-Fi and all the stuff because there were peculiar things with the Samsung.
Don't sell that short, buddy. That's somebody like me.
Oh yeah, no, and he was willing to stay as long as it took to make sure I was satisfied with how the TV was set up. And so it's that service after the sale.
Definitely.
And also maybe you have a problem down the road. You don't want it to happen. Nobody wants it to happen. But they can help you out in that regard.
That's exactly right, Joey.
And it really is a generational thing. And it's because they're great folks there at Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. So you can always go to thinkcohens.com and check out all these electronics, all these appliances, even the massage chairs that we still need to go.
Man, I'm looking at them now.
I could use one of those today.
Yes, sir.
And of course, you can always call the team there at 277-8890. That's 277-8890. Or just stop by 2515 Easter Boulevard here in Montgomery. Today, they are open till 6, 9 to 6, and I believe 9 to 4 on Saturdays.
On Saturdays, that's right.
So check them out today. Be sure to tell Michael and the entire team there at Cohen's Electronics and Appliances that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the afternoon sent you. Oh, let's go to a voice we haven't heard in just a second. Mr. Pink, how are you, sir?
How you guys doing?
Doing well.
all right.
Good to hear from you.
Good, good. I wanted to say congratulations on becoming an uncle. You know, that's life-changing.
Thank you.
Life-changing. And I want to say I sympathize. I didn't know Jack, but I know he was a really good friend to you. I couldn't call in because I was about to tear up, man. You guys talking about, you know, it's always sad when you lose somebody, but especially somebody that's so close and it means a lot to the community. Just want to say sorry for your loss.
I really appreciate that. And it has been a bit of a, not really complaining, it's just the fact, emotional kind of whiplash where you put Jack to rest on a Friday, and then my new niece, Lucy Carol Clark, is born on a Tuesday. And it's, I don't know, it's a good day to be alive. I think seeing those photos of my new niece is probably the best news I've heard in years. Better than anything.
Yeah, so it's what keeps you going. Every time I have a new kid, it's just like, man, I know what I got to do.
Right.
Like,
There you go.
You got to turn off the echo chamber. You got to turn off the bubble sometimes. You know, like I say, come down here to Mobile, man. Get on the boat or something, man, and get your mind off the stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
I
that's
want to
the
ask you,
plan.
speaking about that, I think we're both in District 2 now. I work in District 1 down here on the water, but look like they put everything north of I-10 in District 2.
Right. Stretches to the
Except
west.
for well, except for Saraland, Satsuma area. I don't see why they didn't just put Pritchard in there too. But that gerrymandering, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, this was the Attorney General of the state said this is unequal treatment. And I guess the argument back is like, well, this is making up for past unequal treatment. But at the end of the day, let's get the voting. Let's get the campaigning. Let's draw the daggum lines and get going here. And
get going.
Yeah, it's always the gerrymandering problem. I think will always exist if the way our system currently works.
I think it's built in.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember or not, but maybe it was maybe a year and a half, 2 ago. I was a little upset about, like I said, that representation. You know, I think I was putting out the numbers, the percentage, and saying Alabama has this amount, you know, this percentage of black population, and I even said something like, you know, Mississippi has a higher black percentage. You know, it's like, why don't, you know, 500,000 black people move to Mississippi? You know, and I think you said, no, you just got to get involved, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that could be a strategy. The Libertarians tried it with New Hampshire. It didn't work out too well.
Because they had that work out, Joey.
But no, I think if folks understand there is power, and it's happening in Florida with conservatives. So, but the map is now official, and this District 2 is going to be crowded. I'm just looking to see for the latest here. Okay, Secretary of State Wes Allen saying, I'm not running for Congress in District 2. He's making that clear.
Okay.
It could be, I think, a matchup between Dick Brubaker and Stephen Reed if the rumors are true.
Okay. Oh, Stephen Reed. Oh, that's going to be a knockout right there because I think Brubaker got that name. He got that name recognition, I believe. So he might give him a run for his money.
What do you think of Mayor Reed?
Well, same thing I think about Obama. Same thing I think anybody that's the same race. You think about anybody that's doing good. You take that good things, you know, you say, hey, man, this is like a role model or something like that. Like with a lot of people, black or white, I don't just look for like the negative things, like, oh, he did this, she did that. I look for those positive things that I can pull from, you know, because we're all individuals. But, you know, I mean, I haven't done nothing they have done, you know, so, I mean, I can't really say, like, I can't be their judge, you know.
Right.
But the things that they do, I mean, I can tell my kids, say, hey, man, go to Morehouse. You know, you might be the mayor of Montgomery or something, you know, or even president.
There you go.
You know, yeah. So I mean, I don't hang on these guys' words. I don't hold them up like Jesus Christ or anything. But I mean, if somebody does good, I give them an attaboy, you know, or tip of the hat, you know.
Right.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, I don't have anything for anybody. You know, I'm trying to make it myself. And truthfully, anybody that has a problem, you're not even going to hear from them. People that's having problems paying their rent, doing this or doing that, you're not going to hear from them. Because I'm sure, like all of us, we pay our bills just fine. We know where we're going to lay our head. You know, we know what's coming in. There's a lot of people that don't, and they don't have a voice. And that's what I was really talking about, I guess, a year ago when I was saying, like, I think black people need their own representation because, you know, like I said, a lot of the Republicans, you know, they'll call on the show and say, hey, sit down and shut up. Like, we running this. Like, your voice is not needed. So I think it's all kind of full circle that it is a new district. And like I say, what goes around really goes around. I mean, you know, what's good for the goose is good for everybody else. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, and
so that's a little. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying. Well, I get frustrated, obviously, with this whole. Before we can vote, we got to decide when and where the people can vote. There are a lot of things that happen in democracy that have nothing to do with our consent, like folks like you and I. It's more a lot of elite expert folks have to make a lot of decisions first. And I'm glad we finally just have the daggum lines and let's get to campaigning. Let's get to voting.
Going. Yeah.
There it is. Well, I mean, you lose one here, you pick up one in Florida. You lose one there, you pick up one in New York. So it's all. Joey, have you ever watched The Wire?
Actually, I know what you're talking about. I admit I have not sat down and done a full watch through. I probably should.
Okay, that's really good. Sit down, watch the whole thing, beginning to end, and you'll say, man, this is America. I hate to give it away, but how it starts is how it ends. And it has all the politicians. It has drug addicts. You know, it has from the tip top drivers that's giving money here. You know, it has everything that's American. And after you watch that, you'll come back just saying like, hey, man, ain't nothing going to change, so I shouldn't even stress out, man.
There you go. Good point.
Well, I always appreciate the call, Mr. Pink.
Same here, man. I love you guys, man. Y'all keep it up.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Love you too. 272-9228.
Just came across the screen a minute ago. McCarthy may resign.
From the House?
Yeah, for being ousted. What do you think of that? You think it's maybe a lack of, you worry that there's a lack of confidence in his ability to do anything now that he's been ousted? Or is it more of I'm taking my ball, I'm going home?
I think it's I'm taking my ball, I'm going home. And honestly, I can't blame him. It's like, you know, I can empathize. I didn't like Kevin McCarthy. I wasn't sad to see him go, but I can empathize with the guy in the sense that to get to that position, he probably had to go through hell.
You know he did. How
Think
many days?
about all
3
the
days to get him
Yeah,
there?
to raise all that money, to fight, to get into that position. You always have knives out ready to take you out. And so for him to get to that position and then all of a sudden it's just gone, yeah, I could see why somebody would go home and go fishing, so to speak. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
He's counting money, baby. He's going to Scrooge McDucket. You know, he's going to open that
swim in
door
gold.
boosh, into the gold, baby.
You know, I wonder how that is.
It looks like it's fun, but I kind of think in reality it'd be a little painful.
Yeah, jumping into a big old pile of gold coins.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it's a
probably
jump.
wouldn't feel good.
It's a jump you'll do one time, but that's it.
Hey, how about we hit a break?
Let's break.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's allergies, something. I don't feel great today, but maybe I should be this way often.
Let's go to Tijuana this weekend.
Smooth.
That'll make you feel better.
Tijuana.
Heck yeah, man, that'll make you feel better. Or we can just
I
go
don't want
to...
to see that thing with the donkey again.
Well, then we need to go to Mobile. They got a new show down there. Not a donkey.
Like a guy who fight a bear?
They got that down there.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Shaw's Garden Center and Landscaping will help keep your yard looking its best as the seasons change. Fall is the time to freshen up your pine straw beds. Shaw's has pine straw bales available at cost, only $4.50 each. Pumpkins, wheat straw, mums, sunflowers, and much more. Shaw's can help fight annoying insects with their pest products. With 50 years of experience, the pros at Shaw's Garden Center can offer advice and tips to help get you growing. Visit 3295 Wetumpka Highway in Montgomery or like them on Facebook.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
I'm Cam Marston. My radio show and podcast called What's Working with Cam Marston focuses on the workplace, workforce, and marketplace trends shaping Alabama business. My guests tell their stories and discuss their business expertise in such a way that you and I can learn from them and apply it to our own world. Listen to What's Working with Cam Marston each Saturday at noon right here on News Talk 93.1.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. There's still a risk of a few spotty showers well into the evening hours tonight as that cold front continues to march eastward. Then it turns breezy later on this evening and tonight with the overnight low temperature in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, sunshine, breezy, much cooler, high 74. Clear skies with some jacket weather nights Saturday and Sunday night with lows in the 40s. Sunday's high up to about 72 with blue skies, and just a tailor-made weekend for weather out at the Alabama National Fair. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At ASE Credit Union, financing your next adventure is easier than ever with rates as low as 5.25%. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Now, Eddie, fascinating op-ed out of the American Conservative today.
Oh, yeah?
By Bradley Devlin.
Devlin.
And he writes, Kevin McCarthy, the former Speaker of the House, is the biggest loser in what transpired on Capitol Hill over last week.
Right.
For now.
For now. Yeah, well, these things they do always work their way back around.
McCarthy has said he won't be making a play to regain the Speaker's gavel, but now history will record McCarthy's tenure in and sudden eviction from the Speaker's office is yet to be determined. How the history will determine it, yet to be determined. Much depends on who the House chooses to fill McCarthy's shoes and whether that new Speaker can deliver the proper appropriations bills and avoid another continuing resolution that would likely result in another holiday omnibus. If the next Speaker fails to accomplish that goal, the brief chapter of American history in which McCarthy was Speaker will be written with melancholic and wistful tones rather than tragic or acerbic. In the end, the biggest loser could be Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
I'm fine with that, too.
Amidst the raucousness of the more junior chamber, McConnell's brutal defeat by his own conference in the lead up to the September 30th deadline to avoid a government shutdown has largely flown under the radar.
True.
This is especially on Ukraine funding. Nevertheless, what occurred in the Senate Republican conference over the past few weeks could spell the beginning of the end for the longest-serving leader of a party the upper chamber has ever seen. After Senator Susan Collins of Maine, the leading Republican on the Senate Appropriations Committee and Appropriations Chair Senator Patty Murray first failed to pass single-subject appropriations bills and then failed to pass minibus packages that would have bundled appropriations bills together, appropriations leadership and Senate leadership went forward with a continuing resolution. Well, they failed to do it. Oh, just by accident. We just ran out of time.
Please.
Give me a break. The Senate's effort to pass a budget and the necessary appropriations bill, Senator Rick Scott of Florida told the American Conservative via the phone, was kneecapped by Senate leadership, particularly Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, simply not bringing it up. Leadership, Scott said, waited until halfway through September before we even brought to the floor any of this. It makes it pretty hard to get something done when you don't even start working on it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Maybe they should have took some time off that 6 weeks vacation.
As McConnell, Schumer, and the others negotiated the terms of the continuing resolution, the Senate Minority Leader met with members of the Biden administration, notably Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor for Biden, and the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, regarding provisions to provide further funding for Ukraine. The Biden White House had been asking for $24 billion extra for Ukraine over the course of 3 months. But McConnell reportedly informed the administration that it wouldn't be possible to pass in a continuing resolution. To support Ukraine's war effort, which McConnell sees as tied more closely to his legacy than, say, the border, a Kentucky Republican believed the continuing resolution should include language that moved already appropriated money to further funding for Ukraine. The Biden administration was insistent, however. Blinken told McConnell to get funding for Ukraine, and McConnell obliged. It is rumored on Capitol Hill that in the process of drafting this CR among Senate leadership that it was McConnell, not Schumer, who was most insistent on providing funding for Ukraine. And, of course, we're now seeing a big rebellion against that in the Senate.
How long have we been screaming to stop funding, though? I mean, they're going to act like they came up with this idea.
Right.
Your people have been screaming this for how long? Probably since about the second or third check went out. And what did that guy say? That's the second time I've heard this number. $233 million a day. How long can we afford to do that?
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So maybe it's not just Kevin McCarthy who's going to take his ball and go home. Maybe old crow Mitch McConnell.
Well, hope
he's
they don't
seeing the
freeze up
writing
on the
on
way
the
out
wall.
the door.
Yeah, well, I keep forgetting these folks are literally on death's door, sadly.
So we have to, at some point, sooner than later, install whatever law we need to install. You cannot be X amount of age and be in power anymore.
We completely agree with that.
And we are turning over this Congress now with newer people, younger people. Let's get them to do it now, because I don't know of many of them that don't want to stick around for as long as they can either.
We shall see.
We shall see.
We're going to hit a break. Hopefully we'll have Ray Bowles
That's
practice
right.
carpet when we come back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hey, Tammy, let me tell you about how to bring in those big deer. Randy, I know how to attract the big bucks.
Ah, very funny. At Prattville Farm Center, we've been helping hunters be successful for over 35 years.
We have the products, supplies, and knowledge you need to get those big bucks.
That's right, Tammy. We don't believe in gimmicks or magic seed. We just believe in sound planting practices that work.
So come see us today at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville.
Now that we're done talking about those big bucks, how about those cute does?
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Now, I want to wish a very special birthday to Mark.
Our buddy, 49th birthday, Joey.
Happy birthday, Mark.
Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for all the text, being in communication with us. We love you, man, and I hope you have a great, great birthday today. Happy birthday.
He's a true super fan.
Actually, it's over the weekend, right?
Yes.
I think it's tomorrow is his birthday, but I hope early, even if we're wishing you a happy birthday early, we love you, man, and hope you have a good one. Now let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
What's happening, Ray?
Hey, guys. That wouldn't be Mark Clark's birthday, would it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, I'm glad you said something. I'll have to text him in the morning. Mark, I will text you tomorrow. You know, he lives next door to Mom and Dad.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Nice. Great guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so his mom always goes to church, rides with Mom and Dad at church every Sunday. And yeah, we really like Mark. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I love his mother. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. And she's got some great stories. Don't be afraid to ask her. She's got some great stories.
That's right. Maybe I should have like a Mark sale tomorrow.
Good idea.
If you come in tomorrow and say that it's Mark's birthday, I'll charge you double.
What time you open? I'll be right there.
Yeah, I figured that would get your attention. Hey, I tell you what, I do have some exciting news we're going to talk about Monday. But over the weekend, we're open from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. If you come out and get a free measurement, start looking at some floors. But we've got some really, really hot deals that we're going to cut loose Monday. But the quicker you get us out to measure, the quicker you're going to be able to take care of these extremely good sales that are fixing to hit.
Well, there you go. So folks can always call you there at 285-8117?
Yes, sir. Give us a call. We'll come out and give you a free measurement.
It's just that easy.
It's that
folks.
easy, Ray.
And be sure be sure to tell them that you heard Ray Bowles here on the radio. Appreciate you, Ray. Really do.
Take care, Ray.
Hey, I appreciate you too. Bye.
272-9228. Did we learn anything today, Eddie?
Joe Biden's still the worst president this country's ever seen.
You sure about that?
Yeah. In my lifetime.
Oh, in your lifetime. See,
Worst
that's
I've ever
different.
had the experience of my 54 years of life.
Okay, that's fair. I was about to say Woodrow Wilson was pretty bad.
I've heard some things. But Woodrow Wilson's not taking away my Social Security. Woodrow Wilson's not opening the border to anybody and everybody who wants to come.
Yeah, he's dead.
Woodrow, did he then? I mean,
no, he's the one that gave us the income tax. He's the one who gave us the Federal Reserve.
I don't mind paying a little bit of money. I really don't. It's the way they spend it. That's my issue.
Have I taught you nothing?
They're going to take it, so I might as well act like I'm happy about it.
We didn't have an income tax in this country until Woodrow. And it started as, it's just a 1% tax on the rich. Which is like, okay. That's
Suddenly I
something.
became rich all of a sudden.
Yeah. Now it's like 30% if you make a 70 grand.
It's a minimum. That's where we're starting, Joey. We're starting at 30.
Yeah, they're taking about half, right?
Yeah. And more than that, probably if you were, and I'm sure someone's done it, but if you were to compute how much tax you pay in, say, a month cycle on everything from income tax to just purchasing, I wonder how much your bring home money that you actually, or your money you earn, you actually get to keep. I got a feeling it's in the 35%.
That makes sense.
There's a tax on everything.
Everything. And then when you die, if you've made real good money, they'll tax it again.
Do that death tax, yeah.
Because, when a family is mourning the loss of a loved one, they look forward to having to pay a tax bill on a big estate. Right?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
It's theft.
It is.
I know that's not the common view, but it is.
Call it what it is, buddy.
systematic, legalized, legitimized theft. And you have a lot of it now. And, you know, I think that is the main reason a lot of these problems we have, a lot of this poison is flowing through so many political veins these days. It's because power corrupts.
Yes.
It's not a joke. It's not just a pet theory.
It's a fact, buddy.
And it's not just individual people. It corrupts systems. When systems are built off taking from others.
It's the non-producers that take from the producers, man.
Well, I was just telling you off air, it drives me nuts. These folks are like, well, we got to stand up for democracy against authoritarianism. Like, sure, I don't want to live in China. I don't want to live in Russia. I don't want to live in a lot of these dictatorial systems. But do you not think democracy can be, especially how we practice it, it's really oligarchy, elite managed democracy? Do you not think that can't be tyrannical as any dictator or authoritarian?
Sure kind of feels that way now.
And it's not just me talking about that. This is a long tradition of folks critiquing these sorts of systems. So it's just
frustrating.
I'm glad it's the weekend. I'll put it that way. And I'm glad I got the best news I've heard in years.
That's right.
Welcoming my little niece into the world. And she's so healthy. She's so well behaved already. It's just amazing.
What kind of gift are you getting, too? We
I haven't even thought about it.
Savings bond.
A savings bond?
It's old school, but it's classic, and it's Joey Clark.
Right. Well, if I had the money, I'd get him a Bitcoin.
Let's do savings bond.
A savings bond?
It's old school, it's classic, it's Joey Clark. Or you can go to Costco. They're selling the little gold bars at Costco now.
Okay. Actually, it kind of went in with my dad and his fiance. Got this, like, cradle that self-rocks. Like, it's got an arm that goes back and forth.
I've seen that.
It works.
I've been looking for the adult version.
They sent me a video of it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And it works.
I've been looking for the adult version of that my entire life.
Right.
Imagine a bed that just rocks you to sleep, Joey.
Right. No, I don't know what gift I'm going to get. I'm probably going to get something that's for the parents that they can enjoy.
Good idea. You're always thinking, man.
I suppose. Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Bedell and Rosie and Eddie's sticking around,
Sticking around. Can't get rid of me that easy.
They're next. Stay tuned.